Fund, which has already invested in several promising startups. Academically and professionally, Mr. Chandrasekhar Kuperi is equally distinguished. He is a chartered accountant, caste accountant, company secretary, a rank holder and medalist, and holds an MBA along with a senior management program from IIM Calcutta. His excellence has been recognized through several prestigious awards, including Rashtriya Udyog Ratna Award and National Recognition for Excellence in Cost Management. We are confident that his vast experience, remarkable achievements, and real-world insights will greatly enrich today's session and inspire all of us. I also extend a warm welcome to all the participants who have joined us from various institutions. Your active participation is what makes this colloquium a meaningful platform for learning and intellectual exchange. Once again, I extend a sincere welcome to Mr. Chandrasekhar Kuperi and to everyone present here. I wish the National Colloquium a grand success and hope the deliberation today will be insightful and rewarding. Thank you.
வணக்கம் அந்த சாப்பிட்டவனே அந்த எனர்ஜி இல்லையா வணக்கம் வணக்கம் See, this is such a beautiful occasion, I'll tell you, because more than the knowledge, the sort of eminent person that you see here is such a great blessing, guys. எனக்கெல்லாம் வந்து காலேஜ் படிக்கும் போதெல்லாம் இவ்வளவு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி இல்லை. I'll be very honest with you, because those days, we didn't have so much of events. But இன்னைக்கு வந்து இவ்வளவு ஈவெண்ட்ஸ் நடக்கும்போது ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு. And in the college நான் படிச்சதுக்கு, I'm grateful to the college, especially Dr. Sheshadrinathan for, bringing us here and all the faculty members of DG Vaishnav. So grateful that the other students have come from other colleges as well as faculty from other colleges. A lot of research scholars, because research is an area which is so profound. One of the happening thing in this country which shows that more than knowledge we value wisdom. எப்படி அந்த knowledge wisdom convert பண்ணுறது அதான் நம்ம பார்க்குறோம். ஸோ இன்னைக்கு என்ன நடக்க போகுது, let me tell you quickly. We'll first have a keynote speech followed by a fireside chat, and then we'll have a panel discussion. First of all, I'm grateful to all the 5 people who have come here. Let me thank Mr. Srinivasan, who has kindly given us time. Okay, and definitely please give a big round of applause to Mr. Srinivasan, because such a busy person, pudikade kashtam, but he was very kind enough to accept and then come here. Then we have Mr. the great person from Salem now. Okay, so I think let's give a big round applause to a professor out here who has come out to be part of this amazing event, Sudarshan Raghavan. So grateful to you, Sudarshan. And then we have an amazing person out here, a woman entrepreneur, so let's give her a big round of applause. I'm going to say something special about you, so I'm going to hold on to it, okay? And then to Ram sir, okay, who has been with Virtuosa for a long time. He's actually flying to Dubai, but he has made it a point to come here. So big round of applause to Ram sir for being part of this occasion. And we have one more Ram. Look at this. When the occasion is so beautiful, it is always Ram after Ram. So thank you, Mr. Ram, for taking your time to be here. So let me first take the opportunity of introducing the keynote speaker. I will call them by their names because I have their permission. So I'll take the liberty. So I will start with Mr. Rambabu Kumaraswamy. We all fondly call him Ram. So that's what I'm going to do. He founded Newgen Technologies Inc., which means it's a US company, in the year 1996. Serving wide range of clients, which are most of them are Fortune 500. Can you believe that? Most of them are Fortune 500. But this is the best part, Under his leadership, Newgen, it won the Inc. 500 award, which is a prestigious annual ranking of the fastest private companies which are growing in the US. Give him a big round of applause, guys. And not for 1 year, 3 years consecutively. Can you believe that? 3 years consecutively. In fact, if you look at this ranking, it's typically 5,000. Adila 10% filter, he's part of that 500. So such a great happiness, to have you here, Ram. It doesn't stop there, guys. He has also established a company called Smarties Technologies, which is a trusted global name in the edtech world, providing global learning solutions for students right from pre-KG to 12. Wow. That's amazing, helping the students, nurture them, become better citizens. That's fantastic. Now, this is the biggest part of Ram. He holds 2 master's degree. Unne kashtam. He holds 2 master's degree, one in computer science from Georgia Institute of Technology, one in manufacturing systems engineering from Louisiana Tech University. Idu thavara, a bachelor's in mechanical engineering from Pondicherry Engineering College. Let's give him a big round of applause, guys. Poruma, illa. He is also a national level chess player in India. Manda Patima, okay? I had the greater privilege of meeting him at IIT Madras Shastra event, which just happened in January. And we were trying to, see how these young minds are, the startup world, and the way he was motivating the young minds. The startup guys, I was so privileged, to see you doing that. It's a great honor to have you here, Ram. Please, give him a big round of applause. Over to you, Ram, for your keynote speech.
Should I use this mic or this? Chandrasekhar has a way of making you very happy, So, I hope I live up to his expectations. I guess today we're going to talk about the major technology that's being used everywhere, and or at least it's in the conversation right now, which is artificial intelligence. And I have given many speeches on artificial intelligence, and the only problem I have right now is I hope I finish it within 30 minutes. I will keep a timer, so in case if I exceed, please let me know. So let me start the timer just in case. So I keep an idea how long it's going to take. Okay. So when we talk about artificial intelligence or AI, there's a lot of talk right now. Everybody's like, oh, AI is going to do this, AI is going to do that. And people really are wondering why suddenly this happened. It's not been in the conversation for a long time, right? I mean, probably because of ChatGPT came to December 2022. Everybody's like, oh, AI is going to do this because ChatGPT did things which nobody else anticipated people do. But AI actually has been in existence since 1955. There's a guy called John McCarthy from Dartmouth. He's the one who actually proposed the name AI, okay? So a little bit of history to understand why suddenly it gained so much of prominence, right? So the first thing is, I'm not going to bore you with history, but a little bit. The first thing is, there were 2 types of AI. There are still 2 types of AI. One is what is known as deterministic AI, which is a traditional AI. The other is the probabilistic AI, okay? So deterministic AI, well, back then in the 80s and 90s, people used to call it as expert systems, okay? So what happens with expert system is, when you see like the scanners in the airport, they are pre-programmed. They're like, the rules are predetermined. So it says, okay, if this geometric shape is how this object is, the prohibited object looks, then raise an alarm, raise a red thing, whatever, and tell the TSA, whatever in India, whatever people are there, to say, oh, he's carrying this prohibited item in his baggage or hand luggage, so make sure you stop him and make sure you do not let it go through. So this is one example. The other example, since I'm a chess player, I know this. There is a very famous program called Deep Blue by IBM. They did a whole, enormous effort in creating all these openings that people play. There are so many openings, almost 1 billion openings. And then all these subsequent combinations and permutations, where if black plays like this, white will play like this, everything they program together. It is still deterministic. The AI chess bot is not undeterministic or probabilistic. So this is another example. Even the robots of back then, the Boston Dynamics and Carnegie Mellon and everything, they did deterministic AI. Back then there was no robot running wild or anything like that. Even the Sophia and humanoid robots and industrial robots, they were all deterministic. So people were not very scared. Right now everybody is kind of scared of robots, or at least AI. And that's one of the topics we have, the perils of AI. So But it is not like that back then, because everything was within the control of human being. So it was like you write some predetermined rules, and as long as the rules were met, the next stage of execution happened. This is typical to any programming, except it did something specialized. That's about AI. But then came this probabilistic AI, which was essentially, there are two types of probabilistic AI. One is the neural network type probabilistic AI. The other is the non-neural network probabilistic AI. The neural network probabilistic AI is the one that is used for most part, the LLMs and everything, the ChatGPT and Llama and Gemini, Grok. Everything is neural network-based probabilistic AI, okay? But there are so many other things which are not what you see, but they are also probabilistic AI, okay? So when we talk about this AI, so how does this get governed? What happens here? It is still written by, when people think about neural networks, they think, oh, maybe it's some brain, you know, like something connected with the brain or something. No, it's nothing to do with brain, okay? But yes, the inspiration is from the brain. You do have the neurons, like how you have in the real human neural system. Then you have the, like how you have the synapses when it moves from one neuron to another neuron and until it reaches a cell. All these things are similar, okay? But there is nothing biological about it. It's entirely mathematical. It's a complex set of mathematical functions that govern the movement or the transition of the execution. The only problem is these mathematical models or functions are so complicated that they are not within the control of human beings once the human beings have actually chosen the appropriate mathematical function. Okay, so what type of mathematics are we talking about? When in the initial stage you have like linear algebra, nonlinear algebra for data representation, all that. But in the next stage you have calculus, which is the more complicated ones, which is like partial differential equations and other types of complex stuff within calculus. So this is something, it is written by human beings, it's chosen by human beings. But what happens once you have chosen it is outside the control of human beings. Because how the weights and measures, they call it as parameters, that is not something that is controlled, but it is self-correcting. Okay, this is where people talk about, oh my God, things are going to go out of control, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want you to get too scared, but we'll get to that in a second. So that's the whole point. But is the mathematical model or mathematical function that is changed by the AI system? No, it's not. The mathematical model itself is chosen by a human being. Okay, so now we get to, when I was in masters, I did actually both traditional and probabilistic AI, and I looked at neural network and I thought this is never going to have any application. This is totally waste. Nobody's going to do anything. But everything changed in 2017 when there was something, a research paper written called Attention is All You Need. And that was written by an Indian, actually, Ashish Vaswani, who was working in Google. So the ChatGPT from Sam Altman's OpenAI came from that, and everything became completely different. So now, we'll talk about the perils, promises, and the balance, right? So, I mean, I will start with the perils because I wanted to end in a positive note, like Shakespeare says, all's well that is well. So I will start with the perils, and then I'll go into the promises and then the balance, right? The perils are, the first thing, when you look at AI, what people generally, like youngsters like you will think, it's so funny. There are so many memes, like some political leaders are dancing and some monkey is picking up stuff and growing and becoming kind or whatever. Those are the things that pop into your head when you look at AI. But no, there is something called deepfake, which is very, very scary, right? Because a real human being can be fed in, and the real human being maybe you can create as if he's talking or she's talking and doing something. It has happened even in 2024 elections, where there was one minister, central minister actually supposed to have said something, but he did not. And it affected a whole lot of regions within Uttar Pradesh, UP. So it can happen, again, maybe some foreign entity or some spy agency or some other vested entity can actually create trouble, right? They can cause friction between two communities, two ideologically opposed groups. That's a possibility, right? So that's one major peril. The second peril, which is I think is the biggest of all, is the job loss, right? The job loss is a real serious problem. I mean, I don't, a lot of things are spoken about AI and people think, oh, maybe is this a fiction? Is this real? Is it going to happen? No, job loss is real, okay? When people call AI as the fifth industrial revolution, I don't know, maybe I'll call it as fourth, but it doesn't matter. But the first industrial revolution everybody agrees on is the revolution that happened in the 18th century, 19th century, late half of 18th century and the early half of 19th century, right? So when that happened, people really lost jobs, right? I mean, there are so many people in Europe were mostly affected, very seriously affected. But India also, something we were very severely damaged is in textile industry. I don't know how many people know about textile industry where you take the cotton fabric, mostly if you're cotton, and then you produce a fabric, right? Cotton from the seed and you produce a fabric. But there are many operations in between. The modern textile has like probably 25 operations, but the ancient ones had like at least 7 operations, important operations. Right from ginning, you take the cotton out of the seed, and then you have carding where you make it into slivers, and then you have make it into yarn, which is called spinning, and then you have either you weave it or knit it, and then you bleach, dye, and then if you need printing, you do printing, and then eventually you finish it. So all these operations were done by human beings. Even today there are some areas, Kanchipuram, you can see some of these weaving done, and handloom is still there in some parts, but it is such a exotic thing that nobody actually wears dresses which are necessarily done by human beings at this time. It's still, textile technologies, today people think textile is a very labor intensive. Back then it was extremely labor intensive. To produce a fabric from a cotton plant, it took about months. Now with the mechanization that happened in the 18th and 19th century, it started taking hours, if not days. So what happened to these people? I mean, India was producing about 25% of world's output, right? So then from 1800, India was producing 25% of entire world's output. And 1830, India was only producing 2%. So lots of people, millions of people lost their job in Gujarat and Bengal. Bengal was very famous for cotton and textile. They all lost their jobs. So this can happen even today with AI. Okay, one field that pops into my mind, there's so many white-collar jobs that can be affected, but one field that really pops into mind is animation. Okay, animation, like I'll give you an example, 3D animation. I'll go really fast with the steps, but if you are interested, I can slow it down. So in animation, you start with something like a script. You write a script, and then you do storyboarding, which is like a step-by-step process, and then you take from there, you decide on, what are the characters that are there, and you decide on the background, you design the props, and then you model them, right? And then once you model the characters, then you have to essentially rig them, apply the appropriate texture, then you do a very intensive process called animation, and then you have to do a very, very extensively time-consuming process called rendering. So once the rendering is done, you have a bunch of images. And then you collate all the images called compositing, and then you add the BG, you add the BGM, you add the dubbing, you add SFX, VFX, and then you do editing, mastering, and then you have a final finished video. But now you have AI tools right now when it's called Luna. You can actually give it in a command line prompt, and within minutes you'll have a full video. Of course, it's not as good a quality as what is humanly done, but it's just a matter of time. This can be done. I know the entire process of how they do with the VIT and the CNN and all that. It's not that difficult to make it very, very similar to what human beings are doing right now. This is a real problem. So privacy is another problem. I mean, already there are, everybody has some digital signature, right? You make calls, you go online, you do transactions, you do all kinds of things. You use social media. Everything is now can be collected together, and a human being's behavior, human beings' exact thought process can be understood. This is real. I mean, there is a company called Palantir in US, which actually has done this. Okay, they have products like Gotham and Foundry, and they are really, there is no privacy anymore. If you thought privacy is dead with the big tech, privacy is going to be completely gone with AI-enabled big tech. So this is the third big problem. The fourth big problem, I would say, is intellectual property rights, right? So you see right now, like if you think about Picasso, right? So Picasso is a very unique artist, if you guys know it. He used a technique called cubism, right? So you have like straight lines and cubic, like it looks like a cube. He's long dead, but you can create a new painting of Picasso today. All you gotta do is feed all these Picasso paintings into the system, and then you give a text and it'll come up with a Picasso art, as if Picasso did it today, okay? And you can do that with even even people who are producing music, right? I mean, of course, very versatile people like maybe Arjit Singh, you cannot do it because he has very unique style in every one of his songs. But if you take like a Tamil composer, I can think of is Haris Jayaraj, right? Haris Jayaraj's songs are very similar. So you can easily feed all his tunes and then ask, you don't have to go to Haris Jayaraj. You can say, hey, I want a song which is done by Haris Jayaraj. And it'll do exactly like how Haris Jayaraj would have done. Even Haris Jayaraj would not know that it's his song, right? That's extremely possible. Same with, say, if you're into Western music, into Taylor Swift. Most of hers is anyway about breakups, so you can easily come up with a new song of her style. So this is also possible. And then the one thing that people talk about, which I don't believe will happen, is what is known as the AGI or ASI. Okay, AGI is artificial general intelligence, and ASI is artificial superintelligence. This is not, in my opinion, is going to happen. I don't mind any number of people like Jeffrey Hinton or Eric Schmidt or anybody says that. I know for sure it's not happening right now. Okay, these people are experts. They should be a little bit more careful before they start saying and scaring people. In my opinion, they are giving wild suggestions about what can happen. I don't respect a lot Sam Altman anyway, so he gives also the same prediction that things are going to go really bad, but I don't believe that. So that's as far as the perils are concerned. So what are the promises, right? So we talked about job losses, but then jobs can be created with AI. This is a very important thing because this is where youngsters like you, if you are interested in AI, you need to know where the jobs can be created, right? So there are 5 layers, as they call it, in AI stack, right? So the first layer is energy layer, which I heard him say. They have some data centers coming up in India, like Google. Everybody is like trying to put the data center. I'm not sure if they're going to get the return on investment. Nobody wants to be behind. So everybody wants to have the data centers established, create a bunch of models, large language models or any kind of models. But I am not so sure if they're going to get the returns. But energy layer is one of those areas where you need a massive amount of energy. People talking about green energy, people talking about nuclear. I don't know how India will produce so much of energy, and all over the world, it's very difficult to produce the kind of quantum of energy that's needed to power these data centers. The next is, the second layer is the chip layer, the semiconductor layer, right? So this is where I believe there will be a lot of opportunities for a lot of people, especially for science-based majors, right? Because chip is something that's going to happen. There's going to be, TPUs, GPUs. It's going to happen it used to be T-flops, terafloating operations per second. Now it's P-flops, petafloating operations. These things are going to keep on increasing, and more new designs, like used to be Ampere, now then Hopper, then Blackwell. NVIDIA is coming up with these new chips. These chips are going to grow bigger and bigger. Now TPU chips are coming from Google. So there are going to be plenty of opportunities for lots of people in this field. And the third layer is foundation model layer, right? Model layer. So lots of new models are going to happen. I'm not so sure if there's going to be all LLMs, but we will talk about some domain-specific models, and these things are going to happen too, right? I'll explain what is domain-specific model in a minute. So, and then next layer is what is known as what is that called? Infrastructure layer, okay? Where they create all this, infrastructure where all these servers are there, then the network, the cloud, everything is there, right? This is what is happening all around India. There's billions and billions of rupees or dollars which is spent, but I don't know there is a sustainable job creation in this field, right? And the last is where Indians can shine enormously, And this is real happening. I mean, according to Stanford, India is #1 in this layer, which is called the application layer, right? So the application layer is what happens, how to use the AI models to do something useful for humanity, right? Human being, like all our industries, different industries need to use this. AI is not just for fun, not for creating some songs and some lyrics or some kind of, very interesting, funny content. Somebody has to use it for something of value. That's where the application layer comes in. And so what is applications that AI can be used to create? They can be used for many purposes. I mean, one is education, right? Like you take a lot of people will have youngsters maybe, or even your age. You don't understand what the teacher teaches you, right? You don't want to ask because everybody's laughing at you. You don't know how else to proceed beyond this because the particular textbook doesn't give you the answer what you're looking for. You can actually take it into a PDF and feed it into AI large language model, and then ask any number of questions. You can, very silly, very stupid questions, it'll give you all the answers, right? This is possible today. And nobody will have to know that how you read it. You just have to, even a 8th standard textbook, PDFs are available, CBSE, you can just put it, and I've done this actually. So, and ask any number of questions, like even very complex stuff, the differential equations or entropy, quantum entanglement. It doesn't matter how hard the subject is. You can ask silly questions and you'll get the answers, right? This is possible today. I mean, there are some schools called alpha schools in US. There is a school in Kerala which claim that they are using AI. I don't know how much of use, but alpha schools are using AI. They're condensing the material, what is there in 5-6 hours in a day, into 2 hours. And the remaining 3 hours or 3.5 hours, they're spending with a kid on practical stuff. This is happening already. And this is one of the promises. It's going to happen more and more. And the other thing is agriculture, right? Agriculture is also, there are lots of applications in agriculture. There was one example I remember, probably I heard it in this Amir Khan's program he used to do, Satyamev Jayate. And he was saying in Punjab, they are using pesticide, so much of pesticide, right? So they're worried about, some pest will come and attack them. So just put enough pesticide. So they put so much pesticide that it became like 10 to 15 times what is allowed to be applied on the crop. So we are then consuming it. Punjab is the biggest agricultural producing state in India. So everybody, even us, are consuming such products. So, AI can actually make sure that you only apply certain amount of pesticide, right? So it will know exactly how much you applied. So same with groundwater. If the ground has sufficient moisture content, you don't need to apply so much water. You can conserve water. Same with weed control. You can have targeted weed control. All these things are very much there. It's not a new one. One other thing that I'm very excited about is medicine. Medicine is a big area for AI. Already radiologists are using X-rays, MRIs. All that is, CT scans are already happening. But what is a possibility in pathology is happening? What is really possible is with surgery. Right now, surgeries are done with AI, which is more traditional AI, where the doctor will be there, you'll be using joystick kind of thing. They will cut that. The arms will go and do the surgery, but it's entirely controlled by the doctor. But, like you take this small area of a throat, right? So you have the pharynx, and then you have larynx, which is the voice box. And then you have the esophagus, which goes into the food, like your stomach. And then you have the trachea, the windpipe. And then there's something that stops from flowing, which is the epiglottis. And then you have the thyroid and parathyroid gland, right? So all these things. So if you have a problem with thyroid, when you grow older, you may get, then thyroid surgery is a very risky surgery. 15% of people lose their voice. The larynx get affected. It's not necessarily the larynx, but one of the connecting tissues, one of the nerves get, they lose their voice partially or fully. That's happening today. But AI can bring it down to from 15% to 1%. That's possible. The other fields are, defense. Lots of defense things are happening. Actually, I met some people in defense recently, and I was really shocked that how much of AI has happened in India. I'm not sure I'm privileged to talk about it, but it is happening in a big way in India. It happened with Operation Sindoor, and it's grown into a much bigger level in the last few few months, actually. So then you have Edge AI and all that. I'm not going to go into too much details. It just drags into, but I'm going to get into the balance part, right? So when they talk about balance, oh, you know what, AI is going to do this and that. Oh, we have to control it. We have to keep everything in check. Otherwise, we're going to lose everything. Now, who can do it? And people say, oh, the government has to do it. The government has to bring in laws from regulations, rules. They have to stop it. I don't know how much that's true. There are certain things it can do. It can prevent frauds, data center calls. Some of these things can happen, but the government cannot do. Most people in the government are bureaucratic. They don't even know what is AI. So how are they going to prevent, how identify perils? And even if you hire some good AI guy in a government, after like few months, he will get a better job and he will go. So he's not going to stay around for him to implement very good policies and help the government. So this is going to be a problem, but basic, simple things can be solved by AI, right? Solved by the government. Now the next area is job loss, right? So job loss is a big problem, right? I mean, when the first industrial revolution happened, there was so much of job loss, there was so much of social disturbance. The job loss was a big problem. There was this capitalistic model way back in the 18th century, Adam Smith, and then everything was thrown out and Karl Marx came into existence in the 19th century. Nobody would have thought from 18th century of capitalism in Europe down to Karl Marxism. It was very funny, but it's real. Initially, the Europeans started plundering their colonies, India and everything, and then they started waging wars with China, with the Opium Wars. And then they did, what is that called, plunder Africa and everything. But they could still not keep their population happy because there was so much of job losses. But India, of course, we couldn't do anything because they were controlled by the British. So this can happen again. There could be a 30% loss, some people predict. I don't think so, but that can happen. But if it does happen, then what do? We have to give, the government can step in and put in some rules, like you got to give a long severance pay, you got to retrain people, but it is not going to be completely sufficient for the government to be able to do everything, right? So this is where the balance is something that people cannot really predict at this point, because you cannot like say, okay, let's do slow adoption of AI. That's not going to work. Because if we do a slow adoption of AI is it's a productivity tool. It's a tool that helps in productivity. The reason why there are job losses is because there is increased productivity. So we need to use those people who lose the jobs into something else, which will then make them productive again. That's how we grow our GDP. So we cannot say we will be slow in adoption. We adopted every other industrial revolution, we were behind, and that's why we are poor. So we have to not do that. But what we need to do is put some guardrails. There's plenty of possibilities to do that. And once we do that, we can actually enter into the AI industrial revolution, and we can make use of those opportunities that are provided by AI. So there you go. Okay.
Give once again a big round of applause to Ram. I tell you what, it is not so easy to speak about this topic because it is highly intellectual. In the Endiran movie, when he spoke about peril, how many of you seen Endiran? And the chitti and the Rumbaraga Dr. Vasigaram Bata Sulwanliya, where is the black sheep? Adan the peril. That's exactly what is happening in the world of AI. I think to summarize what he has said is, AI came as early as 1955. So guys, it's so important to understand that it is as early as 1955. And look at this. Probably it was expert AI, then it was deterministic AI, probably it went into probabilistic AI, then probably how the neural networks started helping us. Then the boom, OpenAI came, and then started doing things very differently. But what I liked about Ram's speech is the way he outlined the perils and of course the promises. The peril is all about deepfake. How many of you know deepfake? And how many of you know about cheap fake? That's the other version, huh? Deepfake and then cheap fake. Job loss. Okay, in fact, I always say that the jobs are lost to those who actually are not willing to understand AI. The moment you start appreciating AI, pakka commerce student numbers thaan theriyum, vera edhume theriyadu. I'm good in slicing and dicing data, no technology. That's why now when I see these doyens in front of me who love technology, I'm so inspired. But today, if I don't understand AI, if I don't understand technology, I can never do the work that I'm doing. You know, introduce sir and the M&A. Without AI, nothing works, guys. I use a tool called Magnus.im. Such a beautiful tool, which is helping me even to come out with evaluation exercise. So that's the power of AI. Arthada Rumbaraga on the promise Rumbaraga Chunar. One of the things is layers, and one of the layer that he spoke about is the application layer, where I think India is also working, very, very strong in terms of areas like education, agriculture, medicine, of course, defense. We have always been spoken about it. Even this budget, there is at least a 15% increase in terms of the outlay for defense, and this budget spoke about AI 6 times. Madam Nirmala Sitharaman spoke about artificial intelligence 6 times. Can you believe that? That's the power of AI. And of course, you put it very beautifully on the balance. You said it's a responsibility. I think it's time for all of us to realize that how we understand these perils and therefore the promises and how do we balance it. So once again, before I move to the next session, let's give a big round of applause to Ram. Thank you so much, Ram. We move to our next session, and I'm very conscious of the time. And as I said, Ram Kartad Ram. So we have one more Ram with us who's going to be here for the most important topic on this AI again, the promise, the peril, the balance, but it's more of a fireside chat. I would request 2 chairs. Okay, excellent, yeah. So let me quickly introduce Ram. Again, an amazing personality. Ramaswamy PV, that's his full name. I will fondly call him Ram. He is Global CIO and Head of Cyber Security at Virtusa. Global CIO and Head of Cyber Security. An industry veteran with 30 plus years of experience in digital transformation, ERP, cybersecurity, with deep hands-on experience in Gen AI and Agentic AI. In topic is Gen AI and Agentic AI. Besides being an IT professional, he also holds Masters in Finance and Law. Look at this, Masters in Finance and Law. He has deep domain plus IT experience across several verticals and closely worked with many global CXOs on their transformation journey. Wow. Now look at the next statement. He has worked for global organizations like Siemens, AIG, HCL, HP, and many more. And just hear me out. Also an active advisor to many startups. Give him a big round of applause, guys. Today, India is the 3rd largest in startups, and this is where I'm seeing all these doyens, helping even the community to grow entrepreneurship, how to become a founder. I think that's amazing. What makes his journey inspiring is not just the depth of his expertise, but his ability to stand at the crossroads of technology and strategy. Chumma tech terinja pattal. You have to be strategic, guys. What is strategy? That's what, is the vision. How do you drive that vision? That's what, he's doing. He's guiding enterprises in terms of vision and clarity, but more importantly, he is reminding us that leadership in technology is not about chasing trends, but about creating impact that lasts. That is Ram here. Give him a big round of applause. Ram, please come. So thank you, Ram, once again. Ram, I'm conscious of your time because you're flying to Dubai. He's actually flying to Dubai, but he has made it a point to come here for you guys. So let's again give him a big round of applause, guys. So Ram, I want to make a beginning by saying that in this Union Budget 2026, our Finance Minister, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman, she spoke about AI by saying that how AI can make India a better place to live. And why am I saying this is because she also brought this aspect of Bharat Viksit, which is an AI in agriculture, saying that how even the farmers can use AI in terms of understanding the crop planning, how to understand the pest management, the ability for them to sell the product, but more important, even the weather conditions. Look at this, right from agriculture to defense, the way AI is being spoken about is unbelievable. And guys, if you don't understand AI, oh, trust me, we'll become nomads. We'll be lost. So therefore, I think it's a very, very important topic. So let me begin with the very first question to you. And this is all about AI adoption and success, because one is to say about AI, but also to understand how it is successful. So the question is, every time I listen to the media, or let's say read the newspaper, I find the term AI everywhere. It's almost everywhere. In fact, I also coined a term, instead of AI, which is artificial intelligence, probably I should call it answer instantly. Answer instantly. The question is, you have been working with many, many large clients across geographies. Now, given that this AI implementation could be quite expensive as well as time consuming, how successful do you think this AI implementation has been for such large clients, more in terms of adoption rate as well as a return on investment?
Thank you. Very good afternoon to your professors, students, and I know you are the future stars. We look forward to see you grow India to a big stage. Secondly, Shekhar, as I fondly call him, the way he introduced, I thought he introduced somebody else, not me.
It is our privilege, Ram.
Thank you. Well, I have been heavily involved with global customers. Virtusa does only the US, Europe, and other countries. India, we don't really operate. So a lot of my interaction has been with global customers. So the stage has come that it has become a pivotal moment. AI will become a pivotal moment for every organization. And there are no more fence-sitters. I know even a year back, there were companies who were, should I not? It's a lot of money. Is it real? Hallucination is the reality. How about reliable? A lot of questions were being asked. That is over. Now, every customer is on to AI. Right? Now, either they have to survive or they have to thrive. There are only two reasons they are getting into AI. There are a lot of companies who are doing proof of concepts, quite a lot of companies. I would say 50-60% of our customers are doing proof of concepts still. Big ones who don't want to take the risk yet. There are organizations who have implemented, but the third category are people who have already done the adoption as well. There are three categories of people. There is no fourth category today, as far as my customers are concerned. Coming to your question about ROI, well, that's a sad part. 95% of the customers haven't reached an ROI yet. And that's I don't know if it's a good part or a sad part, because AI is evolving so much that whatever POCs are done or whatever implementation has done, that has changed. For example, many implemented Gen AI. Now they realize, now agentic AI has come, let me implement agentic AI. There are some customers, especially in healthcare, he touched upon healthcare, they have implemented agentic AI. They realize that there is too much of proliferation of agents. This is wrong. Scrap it, implement afresh. The good thing is that's good for us because it's good for business. So there is huge demand for AI, and I think that augurs well for all of you to latch on to AI in the future.
So happy to hear that the adoption rate is very high, guys. So let's give a big round of applause to that statement. Glad that the ROI is still, not there, which only means that we are striving to become better. That's why I understand. I think this message is beautiful for students. I'm also a student of this technology. I think to me, AI is not artificial intelligence. How absolutely involved are we with it? I think that's very, very important for me.
And I would like to add, there is another word for AI. It's called augmented intelligence. Don't allow artificial. Use your augmented intelligence to whatever you do.
Beautiful. So guys, it is augmented intelligence, or as I said, be absolutely involved. And to me, this machine learning, ML, is all about mindful learning. Is our body and mind in the same place? Or நம்ம சும்மா அப்படியே கேட்டு, are we whiling away our time? I think that is the biggest message that I gave you, because for adoption, you need that. And for me, this deep learning is all about disciplined leadership. How good, we are in terms of understanding that AI has to be adopted, and ensure that, no, it gives us the best return. So beautiful. I move to my next question, Ben. It is all about AI in classrooms. The question is, surveys are showing that more than half of students worldwide have already used AI tools for assignments. How many of you use AI for assignment?
Excellent.
So, as someone who has worked with CIOs also, you're a CIO, but you've worked with other CIOs also, the question is, do you think universities should embrace this trend and teach us how to use AI responsibly, or simply start handing that AI detector? Instead of the question paper, you hand over the AI detector to see who is misusing the AI. What is your view?
See, AI is a way of life, and I don't think there is escaping that. There is no way you can escape AI, whatever you are doing, right? For example, as a young child, I used to listen, and my dad used to advise what you should do. But today, my children, they're all some other students, someone is running his own company today. They don't listen to me. They just go to Gemini or ChatGPT, right? That's the way of life. And they are able to question me, correct me, right? And I'm supposed to be known in the industry, but they correct me in a lot of things. So that AI has transformed today's children, and I'm sure that's the way forward. So there is no way of escaping AI. So there is no point in opposing putting an AI detector. You have to adopt and, in fact, embrace it in your everyday life. Like my kids do, I'm sure you do that. There is the way of life, right? My only piece of advice to the universities as well is, put some guardrails and security controls around how AI is being used. We do, advise. Some of my customers are one of the top universities in US, like Harvard. We are doing a session for them. We are doing a how to do AI governance in a university, right? At least 5 universities are my customers today. And we advise them, and we implement the guardrails so that while, yes, you students can go home and do whatever you want, but in the exam time, there are a lot of security controls. In the college campus, there are a lot of controls, but also a lot of guardrails and how well. But the professors also have to equip themselves that how much should I allow and how much should I not allow? Because each university has a different way of executing them, right? So the improvement has to come from everywhere, not just students. Students will always be smarter. You always are smarter than people like us. That much I am very sure, but then definitely that's a way of life. So adoption and embracing AI is the only way forward.
A big round of applause, guys, because here is a CIO who is telling the university students, AI use pannunga. The only caution he said is have certain guardrails around that, because you should use AI responsibly. I think that is a bigger message. In fact, I have a statement that AI is a performing monkey. The more you teach it, the better tricks it performs. So I think we have to use AI wisely to our own benefit in terms of how we can exploit it better. I move to my next question, and this is about the jobs. Ram sir also spoke about, the potential job losses, but he also said in his balancing view what, can also happen. But the question is, even the World Economic Forum, it predicts that AI will create 97 million new jobs by 2030, at the same time disrupting some of the existing ones. But there are new jobs also. That's what, World Economic Forum says. The question here is, for the students, this can sound both exciting and scary, but the question is, should the students be preparing for careers where AI is our teammate, or for careers where we are just managing AI's mistakes? Because AI does a lot of mistakes. And the mistake are correct pannadhile uyir poyidhu. What is your view?
See, it's quite true. I mean, what you told, Shekhar, it's both very exciting as well as scary, right? But if you just look forward, the last century, good old days, we were actually walking, and then came cycles, and then came the rickshaws, and then came the auto rickshaws, and then came cars, then it became planes, and now today, you don't go, just put drone, your job is done, right? What has happened? That's a big, big transformation. Now let me just go a little deeper, right? Let's take the case of rickshaw pullers, right? Some days, I know I have gone in rickshaws in my younger days, even for some colleges. Today, how many rickshaws do you see? Not an auto rickshaw, I'm talking people pulling with that. It's not there. What happened to them? Let Calcutta, but not Calcutta, I know, I was in Calcutta for 8 years. Good old days, they used to pull, and now it is the cycle rickshaw, right? The second, like what Ram, I keep referring to him, that he talked about clothes, right? Let me give a little example. 300 years British ruled us. They tried to convert everyone to wear ready-mades. Indian resisted. They were thrown out. Till 1994, more than 90% of Indians were wearing only tailored clothes. At that time, there was also concern what will happen to these tailors if we wear ready-made. But tell me how many of you are wearing clearly stitched clothes, tailored clothes? Or rather, how many are wearing ready-made clothes? Can I raise of hands? Well, it's almost 100%, right? So, can you imagine what happened to those tailors? That's a way of life, right? These transition is bound to happen. There is no way, right? An auto rickshaw, a cycle rickshaw fellow coming and learning how to drive an auto, he takes over that job, or that guy loses. So you cannot escape. While it is scary, this will happen. And you need to adopt. Better to learn AI and be upgrading yourself to be there and assure yourself a great career. This is what my recommendation is.
This is so beautiful, Ram, because what you're saying is that we have to balance this innovation with integrity. I think this, being a responsible citizen when we use AI is the hallmark of how we become better in this journey, right? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
And I'd like to add here on the point about whether are you going to correct. It's also a career, right? It's like in a development life cycle, there are developers and there are testers. So there are people who do both, right? When they develop, they test it. The same with AI. You can be developing application, like he said, on AI, but you also can test or correct the mistakes. Because when you are developing an application on AI, there will be mistakes. Who better than you to fix them? So you have to correct those mistakes. Obviously, you have to do both. Today's world is not specialization in each. People have to know a lot more than what we used to enjoy, right? Earlier, for example, in a BCom, you studied only one course. I was shocked to hear that amount of subjects added, right? Good old days, BCom was like economics, accountancy, right? Sometimes on foreign exchange. One or two colleges used to go in the 80s, 90s. But today, what all topic do you have? So we could not imagine that in a BCom can have so much of topic. So that's a way of life. You are on the right path. It's just a matter of getting an AI embedded into it. There is absolute career waiting for you.
I'm so happy to hear this from a CIO that AI can never replace the human intelligence. It can only augment our human capabilities, and I think that's a bigger message. I come to a question on cybersecurity, Ram, because it's a huge issue that we keep hearing. I know how many of you keep hearing about the cyber frauds. The amount of cyber fraud that is happening is unbelievable. So the question is, cybercrime damages are expected to hit more than 10 trillion on an annual basis. That is bigger than the GDP of many countries. Look at the number. Huh? Do you think AI will be the superhero that saves us from hackers? Or will it just help hackers write better phishing emails that even many of our students and professors here will simply click and become a prey to it?
Well, if you look at the current stage today, the cyber criminals have a lot of money. The amount of money that he mentioned, they have that in their pocket. So they are learning a lot more. They are spending a lot. And in fact, if you look at them, they can try out on any AI. You have a fear. I have a fear about my organization. They have nothing to lose. So they are trying out everything on AI to develop a solution. So today, companies like us, security professionals or a security product companies are struggling to keep up. It is like a goalie without a goalpost, right? That's my state today. My product companies and me are in that state. Whereas, if you look at the attackers, they can attack a million times and fail. But if I fail once, I stand devastated, my company stands devastated, your university stands devastated. So today it is heavily tilted towards these attackers. But it's a matter of time that yes, it will slowly I have seen a lot of products. I'm in the board of many cybersecurity product companies. How they are shaping up, they come and test it with me and my colleagues. So we are improving. It's just a matter of time where we will be putting a lot of guardrails, and universities, colleges, all will be safeguarded. If you go for the products, you should be. But today, definitely, they are the anti-hero, they are the villains. The heroes, we have not been yet. It's not today, we are not there today.
So what you're saying, Ram, is that, I mean, it's always a question whether it's a breakthrough tool, AI, or is it a dangerous, sort of a shortcut, that we have. Having said this, what is your view? Should students learn AI for their careers, or students should also learn cybersecurity as careers?
Well, he introduced me, but I only want to add one thing. I started my education on IT, but then when I was developing, I realized I didn't even understand anything the business needed, right? So I went back, I did my ICAA and my company secretary, completely different things. And then I worked in a finance department for 8 years.
Wow.
8 years, finance, procurement, projects, the real
Kadisela
domain.
finance
right?
ante IT ko.
Yes. So, to get that knowledge, right? One is the technology, one is the business knowledge, and the education. All three combined, right? So, I feel that if you can add an AI to it, it's amazing. But if you can add a security, so where did my career succeed is because I had the knowledge of technology. I also had the knowledge of finance. I mean, you talk about GDPR, you talk about, so not GDPR, your GAAP, US GAAP, all of that, IFRS, you name them. All the accounting standards across the world, I had a good knowledge. I could talk technology to a CFO, CXO. It was very comfortable talking. So if you today add an AI, well, it really elevates you from where you are. But if you can add a security, well, this really, really elevates. Today, security is the one which is most sought after. And there are a lot of courses on AI security. Very interestingly, at this stage, I've just completed an AI security course just last week. I certified.
Give a hand,
It
yes,
doesn't
yes, give a
stop.
hand. Beautiful, beautiful.
Not to me, it's all to you guys, because if I can do, why can't you do, right? I knew AI, I know security, but the combination of that is really hot, right? So I feel that you should not stop yourself. The market is hot. The more you study, well, or you follow Ram, keep studying all his life, and adding more and more careers. It's a way of life. That's where your career will be.
This is so inspiring because we are in an arts and commerce college, and I think the bigger message is, of course, read your arts and commerce, whatever it is, add an AI plus the way he said security. So we can also add that, no, that's beautiful. I come to this question on hallucination because that's a word that is being used, quite a lot in the world of AI. The question is, McKinsey says AI could add $4.4 trillion to the global economy every year. That's the power of AI, guys. $4.4 trillion every year. Now, the Indian economy is $4 trillion now. Just imagine. The question is, AI sometimes hallucinates, which means basically it makes up things. It just creates things, makes up things. Therefore, should students treat this as a creative brainstorming idea that might even spark innovation? Because sometimes it is creating beyond what it is supposed to mean.
Well, that's a very risky one because, see, it can hallucinate anything, right? So you have to be very careful when you want to play around or you want to adopt. And you know the famous case in US, somebody used AI and went to the court, one of the lawyer, and then there was no such case, but he quoted that, and then he was barred from the law firm itself, from practicing. So there is a risk, even in college, if you try to use that and hallucinates. The good part should be that, yes, take the positive out of the hallucination. Today, a lot of companies, including my company, are developing solution for AI reliability, right? We have rolled out to a lot of customers, right? Very simple example I'll tell you. We developed a bot. The bot was supposed to go and check the travel policy. Okay, if I travel to US, what is my per diem? It's supposed to read, give you the answer, read the policy and answer, because people are too lazy to read documents. Why should I read? So bot will give an AI. We put Gen AI into that OpenAI solution. But it started hallucinating, right? So we added a reliability factor that it will go and cross-check the document again to say, are there different answers to the same question in the policy, right? So this is how the reliability is getting improved in the AI. So that's exactly, it's a big field today.
We open the floor because I'm conscious of your 3:30 time. This question is on agentic AI because that's what we said in the introduction also. Sir is a master in agentic AI. The question is, agentic AI is being called the next big leap where AI does not just answer questions but takes actions. Look at this, huh? It doesn't simply answer. It is actually giving you the solution in a much more better way in terms of actionable solution. Now, if that happens, do you think CIO like you will have shorter board meetings, or in the board meeting you will simply debate whether the bot is right or wrong?
Yeah, very interesting question. See, very true, right? We have deployed agentic AI to a lot of customers. But going back to the previous question, does it hallucinate? Yes, it does. You know, because sometimes it even acts that is even more dangerous. So in the process, the service companies, AI service companies, the job demand has gone up, skyrocketed, right? So quite true that agentic AI is replacing actions. A very simple example, one of the employee wants a software in his laptop, right? But today, earlier, it used to say, okay, you raise a ticket.
Right.
That was all the bots. This is how to get the software. You have to get this request. You have to get these approvals. But today, it goes, says that these are the approvals. Okay, you are already qualified. It start to allocate and install the software into the laptop. So what has that done? It has got away from the person who has to manually do. That's always happens. But coming to the board meetings, at least my board meetings, agentic AI gets discussed. We have a monthly board meeting. We have a quarterly board meeting, right? Quarterly is where I get grilled. Q1 is, and the monthly one is where I talk, they listen, right? But AI is such a big topic that meetings are always longer. If they allocate 3 hours, it becomes 5 hours. If they allocate 1 hour, it becomes 6 hours, in fact. So board meetings, it's always about AI because there are so many innovations, right? There are so many new products coming in market. Every day you hear new ones. The risk of the AI, including the hallucination, and there are topics like how does your revenue go up, right? How is your internal adoption, right? What are the security things that you have brought in place? How do you control the LLMs being used by anybody? But on the other hand, if I say I've brought all these controls, that means you are curbing your employees from using AI. Right? So I get hit on both sides. I do this, I get hit. I don't do that, then I get hit. So board meetings are always a very, very elongated discussion, especially on AI.
No, it's so beautiful because I think whether it's AI or agentic AI, what we're saying is today the speed, the scale, the insights that come out of it, I think that is what is making our life much more better. So it's always a question of how a human mind becomes better than what we are currently. I think the higher maturity is what AI is giving us. On that note, I'm going to open the questions, maximum 3 questions, guys, because of the time frame. So if a mic is around, please raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you. Yes. If there's a mic, I'll get this mic itself.
So we were discussing about the merits and demerits of AI, isn't it? Now, so prior to every AI being launched at every process, let us take payroll or accounting or taxation or any other area decision making, do we have to give enough number of pilot runs, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. We have to give a lot of pilot runs, is it?
Yeah, pilot is absolutely essential, right? See, because first of all, which LLM will work for you, you don't know, right? Many companies depend on a system integrator. Let's say I am implementing for JPMC. JPMC is my biggest customer. when we implement, do they want to trust us? They will not, and that too an AI, and that too agentic AI, which takes decisions. Obviously, anything we do, we first do with a pilot. We call it proof of concept, right? POC is what we call it. Show the success criteria, the risk involved, only then anything gets rolled out. That's why AI implementation takes a lot longer. Otherwise, it's just a 1 month it will take to implement. But the second problem, actually the problem with implementing is not implementing AI as such. The data reliability, right? Let's say payroll, you're talking about payroll. Is the employee master at the one place? Because there are many systems, there could be employee masters in several systems. So it should pick the right data. Similarly, his pay scale, what exactly? There are a lot of complex ways the pay scale is derived. Is it right? And then the leave that he has taken, the time he has put, how much has he billed? So a lot of criteria you need. So the source data has to be accurate before you implement an AI. So it definitely a pilot or a POC is absolutely essential before you roll out anything on AI.
So I could comprehend entirely it is not AI, no? Even human intelligence coupled with the system, isn't it?
See,
Correct me if I'm
it's
wrong.
always human at the center. We never implement AI to take action. There are kind of decisions taken. Minor things are issuing software, that's okay. But if it is a payroll or a termination or any such thing, there is a human at the center. Because it tells everything, but finally a human takes a decision. That is how we are implementing it to all customers.
So it is only an add-on or augmentative, right?
Yeah,
Not
absolutely,
a substitutive. no?
absolutely. We are not succeeding.
So one more, is it okay? It may sound hypothetical. Let us say compliances. 4 board meetings are to be held in a year and so on. Is it AGM? So is it possible the AI itself will prompt if a board meeting has not been held between that 120 days gap, no? If it has, will AI prompt you have not held any board
Yeah, absolutely.
meeting?
That's definitely possible, right? It does prompt that you have not held that AGM. That definitely does. Yeah, but that's you don't need an AI for that, right?
But how will it scan? See, we know the provisions, everything. How will AI prompt that you have not held within 120 days or you have not transferred dividend to the
Because you
scheduled
will be-
account?
No, because you are submitting to the system that this is what has been held, these are the minutes of meeting, all that it tracks, right? First of all, it knows this is the timeline. You would put a timeline. When you build AI, what you do is you are trying to define all the data. You also define the rules. You're also putting all the policies. Policies means every quarter you need to have an AGM, right? That policy is there. So it checks. And then when you complete the AGM, you're supposed to submit a minutes of the meeting.
Oh, you have to feed we have to give all the details. correct?
Absolutely.
Okay,
It
all
will
right,
not,
yeah.
see, it will not view and know. That stage has not come. I'm sure AGI will need to come for that to visualize that you have done something. No. We have not reached that stage of AGI. That's why I said humans are still essential. We are nowhere near AGI. I absolutely agree with Ram on that front.
So one last, like digital financial reporting XBRL, where for US GAAP a standard extended element has been used instead of standard.
True.
The AI alone cannot correct, no? Standard
No
element
way,
is
no.
available in taxonomy, please correct it.
No customer is asking for AI to correct it. No customer. Because I have a lot of US customers, literally every top financial, Citi, JPMC, you name them, right? All are my customers. No one. They are implementing AI, but everything goes to human. There are at least 3 stages of human checks before finally we submit to the external government agencies. No way. AI is helping to do the plumbing work. That's it. Corrections, suggestions, all that happens at a crucial, minor things, as where the agentic AI takes action. But crucial ones, absolutely no customer is even willing to allow the agentic AI to take action.
So we have to give the inputs follow-up points. That is only add-on, correct?
See,
That's an
what
add-on.
happens once it reads what are the inputs given, next time you don't need to give an input. Many things, for example, let's say you have a fusion, you have an Oracle, you have an SAP, it goes and reads that statement and then can give you all the return that you need to file to the government, etc. Right? So every time you don't need to. One time it is fed, it understands. Then it can improve and based on that, it can give the suggestions.
But like income tax provisions, GST provisions, not every year. You have to give the inputs every year, correct, to AI?
Correct, but then GST calculations are done in the system today, right? So you have the data. Yeah.
No, the provisions,
I'll quickly add to that because I'm a pakka finance
the
guy.
provisions are changed.
Correct, you're
every
right.
year.
So we use technology all the time. Technology nikna AI da. Okay, so I always say it is AI plus NI. NI is your natural intelligence. So the term that he's been trying to use is human in the loop. இந்த வார்த்தை நம்ம வந்து கண்டிப்பாக நம்ம ஆணித்தனமாக நம்ம மைண்டில் வச்சுக்கணும். Human in the loop. Without that, this AI cannot perform efficiently the way you want. It can give even hallucinations, bias and all that. Okay?
So you have to give the current year.
You
data,
have to give the current year.
income tax rate.
Absolutely.
With PAN number. without
Exactly,
PAN.
exactly. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
your time.
I have a question to Ram on cyber security. One of my close friend retired from Sundaram Finance Limited.
Okay.
After the retirement, leave salary credited to his account 1,50,000. Click of a button, gone. Complaint lodged. Person took from Ahmedabad. Money could not be recovered. Is there any possibility of getting money?
See, I'm an advisor to the Chennai police as well on cyber security. So we are helping them. It is also because the state governments have to invest a lot more in tracking them, right? They are doing bare minimum today. So we have given them a lot of advice. If a public money is taken, what are the ways to track these rogues, right? See, for example, we put a lot of intelligence to financial system, like my customer, like I said, JPMC, etc. A customer suddenly moves a lot of money from this to this, which is not his routine stuff. Immediately it flags that, hey, something is wrong. Suddenly, guy who travels to 20 countries, but he goes to 21st country, the money is spent in that country, it immediately flags. So we have built a lot of intelligence into it, it's telling them. This is a classic case when government can easily find out, hey, there is suddenly a dip in the money. This is not a money that he would be spending so much. But they need to have those systems. They need to have investments. So we have advised them, systems, people, and in fact, they have recruited a cybersecurity personnel in the Chennai police also. Hyderabad has done a lot more than Chennai, but there's still a lot of investment need to happen.
More number of educated people are losing.
Yeah.
Sir, in YouTube, there is one thing which is running at the moment. There is a medical doctor, okay, she's a medical doctor, husband is IIT Delhi. They have lost 14 crores. எவ்வளவு?
Yep.
14 கோடி தான்.
Yep.
Okay. So that's a cyber security fraud that is happening to
Absolutely.
that level.
Absolutely.
One more question, last question before Ram can leave. Yes.
Students, come on, come out with questions.
If you're enthusiastic, I'll allow one more with Ram's permission. Yeah, give a
that
mic
mic.
there, guys. Give a mic there, please.
Sir, from an industry perspective, what are the AI tools that are expected from a digital marketer to know? And also, what are the add-on courses that can be done to do freelancing as a digital marketer or to work for a corporate company?
See, AI tools, as said, there are quite a lot. In fact, for example, if you look at OpenAI, all the LLMs, then Gemini. Today, Gemini is the most talked about and most successful across all my customers. In fact, we were lucky we got more business because we implemented OpenAI to a lot of customers. Gemini caught up. That's it. We got more business thanks to Gemini. They are saying now replace OpenAI and replace it. There are customers who are going for Llama, right? So there are several tools, and you can't say this tool is better than that. Right? There are only very limited set of large LLMs where you can learn, but then tools, small companies use smaller, lesser tools, or even Llama, which is slightly cheaper as compared to OpenAI or Gemini. But if you want an assured thing, the best is to keep learning on Gemini, because that's where we see huge promise across the world.
Sir, but how will I include that in my resume? Like, I'm explored at Gemini.
Well, you can do online courses, right? There are plenty of online courses available. Right? In fact, I'll tell you, my daughter is a architect, right? But she's done plenty of AI courses on Gemini, and she has added that to the CV. Of course, she's doing a postgrad on different stuff altogether, but there are plenty of online courses, and stick to Google. Career growth is because Google is selling a lot. You know, I met Thomas Kurian a month back, who's the CEO of Google. The amount of investment they're doing, no one is doing. So I see a huge growth in Google AI than anybody else today.
Thank you, sir.
One last question. One last question, guys. One last question, yes. This is your best opportunity, guys. You never get a chance to, speak to a CIO. Yes. Give a mic there, please. Yeah. Last question, Ram.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Suresh Babu. I'm from SRM University. My question is, if I share my personal information in AI, it can be shared with third parties?
Yeah, of course. There is no doubt. If you, depends on the AI. For example, products like Gemini, OpenAI, they give an assurance it won't be shared. But there are too many AI tools in the market. All small tools, it can be shared. And data privacy, they don't have any control. And India still do not have a data privacy, right? The DPDP Act is coming in May, but it's still toothless because they are not insisting on having data to be retained in India. Even if they're retained in India, how do you protect, how do you monitor, how do you control? There are a lot of things yet not there. So it's a huge risk today, as I said, to improve the cybersecurity posture, a lot of things the government has to do, people have to be aware, build the consciousness of what not to do. So it's still a big risk, Suresh.
Thank you.
Guys, please join me in giving a big round of applause to Ram. Ram, thank you so much. It's been an absolute privilege listening to you, listening to your wisdom, and thank you for your time despite the fact that you need to rush to Dubai. Thank you so much once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Guys, once again, a big round of applause to him. So now we are going to move to the last session, and the last session is a panel discussion. Yanage Baimark in the panel discussion. I'll tell you why. Because we have got 3 people from different backgrounds, absolute people of eminence, guys. So please give your attention. This subject, is something that sometimes goes taleke mela porudhu. But trust me, the more we are tuned to it, idu mari or interesting subject edume kedaiyadhu. Because I'm a pakka finance guy. As I told you, I only love numbers. But the moment I got into technology, I started realizing that the amount of things that you can do using the technology makes you much more better person. You become much more efficient. So on that note, let me introduce the very first panelist, Mr. A.N. Srinivasan. Let's give a big round of applause to him first. I call him fondly Srini, and this is his background. An accomplished technology leader with 30 plus years of experience across IT, enterprise applications, Oracle technologies, AI ML, and a large-scale digital transformation program. Muchu vangaduma. Give a big round of applause, guys. You will not find a better person other than Srini today in terms of understanding what is this technology, whether you call it AI, ML, DL, whatever it is. Here is a person who can unravel it in the most simplest form. But this is where I'm super excited, and this just happened very recently. Srini has been promoted very recently as the Senior Vice President at SRF. Let's give him a big round of applause. LinkedIn lapde vaaythugal kottarda varku. I tell you why. Because he is an outstanding leader in terms of his deep technical expertise, sustained contribution to the enterprise-wide technology, strategy and execution. Moonu important vaartha. Moonu important vaartha. Onnu on the leadership, which is a leader, no doubt in that. Strategy and execution. நம்ம எல்லாருமே பயங்கரமா strategy எல்லாம் கொடுக்கலாம். எல்லாம் வல்லவங்க தாங்க. But execute பண்ணதற்கு பாருங்க, their execution tenacity. That is where he stands out. He serves as a senior VP now. VP of the VP in he's now senior VP, IT and global head of Oracle services at SRF. Look at his title, guys. Having him today with us is our blessing. And so is, the 2 Rams. Such a great blessing to have, such people with us. He is doing end-to-end strategy, delivery, operations across Oracle database, Oracle e-business, Agile PLM, Oracle cloud infrastructure, cloud migration programs, what not. Ennada illa sir. That's how we should ask him. Ennada sir ninga panala, Now Srini is widely recognized for his thought leadership in AI, machine learning, Gen AI, data science and digital manufacturing. And the last word digital manufacturing, that's very, very profound to me. He has published a lot of papers, especially in the much acclaimed Lattice Journal and many more. Ingada gettu. He is an active speaker and panelist at many industry forums, guys. Getting his time is such a blessing. In fact, He's been part of CII, Spin Chennai, FICCI, Hindu AI Summit, Oracle India Conference, several national and international conferences. I've had the privilege of listening to him. And I can tell you guys, such a great happiness, that he's here today. Received numerous accolades, including honorary doctorate in information technology and social work. Combination, parle. Information technology and social work. IT Accelerator X Award, CIO Accelerator Award, multiple awards from SRF's chairman. There's something called SRF chairman and TQM awards, multiple awards for innovation and excellence. Srini, it gives us an immense pleasure to welcome you. Please, can we call us to the dais? Now, I have another panel speaker. Again, Rajinikanth Mari, Adirardu. Her name is Radha. Full name Radha Rengachari. But hear me out, guys. Founder and CEO of Spikra. Spikra, and the pair, it's a Norwegian meaning, perfection, nailed it. What is it? Perfection or nailed it. She's building a world-class workplace from the heart of Tanjavur. First, adike kai tatnunga. From Tanjavur, she is building her empire, providing opportunities to multi-talented, committed youngsters coming from a rural background. Oh, what a beautiful visionary. Adu ondi illa. She is also founder and GTM head of AstraView. Hear me out. With the experience of building a service company from zero to few $100,000, AstraView is building an app that will make every project profitable. Can you believe this, guys? Every project profitable. Hats off, hats off, hats off. Absolutely, Radha. Wait பண்ணுங்க. Interestingly, she's also a budding host at Magic 20 Tamil, trying to get and learn the best from C-level executives and entrepreneurs in an hour-long, fascinating and gripping interactions. You should go to YouTube and listen to her the way she asks questions. In fact, more than the people whom, she interviews, the people who come for interview praise her. Give her a big round of applause, guys. Finally, she is also founder and community head of Valar, which is a group with business owners and experts who share knowledge, experience, mistakes, and organic conversations. Wow. Such a profound entrepreneur, but as I said, Vedamate, there is much more about her, and this is also to inspire the young women out here. You know what she did? She did a bachelor's in a subject called bioinformatics. What she does today and padichadu sambandhame illa from Shastra University. But look at this. She always wanted to start something on her own, and never failed to try her hands in opportunities. That's her. She never failed to try opportunity. Examples, tried multiple things. Being a yoga master, school teacher, radio jockey, voiceover artist, along with, of course, working for IT industry. So she started with IBM. Look at this, huh? Start panna? IBM. Then she went. Guys, these are the best places, Freshworks and Zoho. Look at that. She was there doing pre-sales engineer. That was her role. Pre-sales in Mumba Kashtamana Vela. Rumba Kashtamana Vela. That's what she did there. But look at this. All that experience made her start Spikra in the year 2018. And she calls herself accidental entrepreneur. That's what she calls herself. Finally, hear this out. Zoho today has more than 150 customers across nations. You take Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Africa, just name a country, you will find her servicing them. But more importantly, she's got 3 offices, mainly from tier 2, tier 3 cities. Chennai, Indalo, she has got her office in tier 2, tier 3, and of course an office in US also, because she's got a lot of US clients. I want to end with this. One of her mantra, which I've also wrote for myself, is this is the mantra she has. If you have the will, everything else will fall in place. We welcome you, Radha, with a lot of happiness. And finally, the third panelist, Here is a person, Sudarshan, a professional engineer with strong foundation in electrical and electronics engineering, holding a master's degree in power electronics and drives. ஒன்றும் புரிய மாட்டேங்கிறது ஆனால் பயங்கரமாக இருக்குது technology. He currently serves as assistant professor of Sri Shanmuga College of Engineering and Technology, where he contributes to curriculum development, academic assessment, and student mentoring. Give him a big round of applause, guys. He himself is so young, but look at this, the career guidance, the student mentoring, which the students want, especially from, the tier 2, tier 3, that's what he's doing. Sudarshan has significant hands-on industry experience. Don't think he's only a professor. Adi ippada. Has significant hands-on industry experience, having worked as an embedded and IoT engineer at DataCube Solutions, and earlier as an IoT engineer and manager at Hypogene Technologies, where he led development, troubleshooting, optimization, and deployment of custom IoT solutions. Amazing, guys. The amount of effort that he has put in is unbelievable. Now look at this. What is the specialty? Something called edge computing. So his work spans across intelligent edge computing, wireless communication protocols, optimizing device connectivity, data transfer for improved system reliability. He has practical exposure to numerical relay settings, Dable testing, and demonstration of power systems. Guys, these are not ordinary words. You're looking at a guy here who may be pretty young, but the amount of work and the experience and the knowledge he has is unbelievable. I'm going to stop there. He has organized workshops in AI/ML integration into embedded systems, supporting the development of intelligent, scalable IoT and edge computing solutions. That's how he has been doing workshops on these areas. Sudarshan is adept with a range of technical tools like, in the Pela and Theriyadu, but I'll still mention that, Keel, Arduino IDE, AutoCAD, Microchip Studio, Magnet, Proteus, strengthening both his instructional and engineering capabilities. True engineer, guys. Instruction because he's a professor, but he believes that the core engineering has to be brought in what he instructs. His academic research includes finite element method-based analysis for aircraft applications. Aircraft applications, look at this, guys, where he is actually applying his interest both in applied engineering as well as advanced simulation. That's, Sudarshan for you. And finally, I'll end with this. He is known for his structured problem-solving ability, collaborative approach, and consistently focuses on delivering high-quality engineering and educational outcome. Give him a big round of applause, guys, because the word is outcome. Nariya instruction கொடுத்துடலாம். But to get the outcome is the most difficult, guys. I always say that ideas are dime a dozen. It's only the execution that matters. In fact, Steve Jobs said very beautifully. He always said that I don't consider a person who has got ideas. I don't even go near the person, but I will always love the person who has got the ability to execute. And here is a Sudarshan who does that. We welcome you, Sudarshan. Thank you so much. So on that note, we start our panel discussion, guys. Please give your attention because these three people come from different backgrounds. Amazing experiences. As I said, எனக்கு பயமா இருக்கு நான் எப்படி கேள்வி கேட்க போறேன்னு. So please give your attention to. Because we have a woman amongst us, I think it's fair to start with a woman. So Radha, I'm going to start with you. My very first question. And my question is actually quite simple, Radha, okay? Because I know you have varied experiences, but my question is basically on the skill gap and the work readiness, because this is where I've seen you working quite a lot. The question is, NASSCOM reported in 2025 that India faces a shortage of nearly 300,000 AI skilled professionals. We are speaking about AI, but look at this. There's still a shortage of AI skilled workers. Even the adoption has been a slight issue among certain enterprises. I'm not saying all, certain enterprises. The question is, you have been focusing with Zoho, and Zoho has been building a lot of this accessible AI tools. So the question is, how can India bridge the skill gap, especially for users who are not technically trained, but still need to work productively with the AI system?
Thank you for having me here. I will just start with breaking a myth. Whenever we talk about AI, I am in the industry for the last 2 years. I am reading about AI. but it's been about 5 years since I stopped coding. Instantly, for the first few months, the fear in my mind was, oh, I should get back to my coding, right? Then what would the healthcare people do? What would the finance people do, right? So you don't need everybody to build AI. You need people to use AI effectively, right? So all of these people need to be trained on how do we use AI, and how do we do it is by democratizing it, right? So that's what even ChatGPT, I think they OpenAI partnered with Airtel as well, right? One is they're obviously taking our data, and the other thing is they want everybody to get used to it and make it as a habit, right? So how could you start using is you already are learning Tally, Zoho books, Kata books, and so on, right? So you are all sitting with numbers. So today what you will be doing is probably you will have a P&L report or a balance sheet report, and you would go through it line by line, and you would say something is missing. Even though it's a test data, just feed it into the AI and ask what is missing, right? So then you would know, ask again questions on how are you thinking this, right? So make it your teammate or your friend where you will brainstorm with it and learn along with it. That's the best way we can start learning things, and we don't need everybody to be an AI developer today. As long as Sir was talking about job loss as well, right? The jobs are going to happen because if you don't know how to use it, right? And it's pretty easy for us. I mean, everybody knows. Nobody have ever Googled saying, how do I make an Instagram post? Instagram is updating themselves every other week. 1 year later, I log in, I feel alienated. I mean, the UI has changed, the options have changed. You are using Snapchat. All of you are already tech savvy, right? You don't need to know today on how to install a mobile app or how to do certain things in the system, right? So use that to your advantage, because you are the generation who have started with mobile right from your school days as well. So use all of these tools to enable yourself to do that. I think that's one of the best way for us to start with this skill gap.
This is so beautiful what Radha is saying, because what she's saying is that curiosity is the mother of learning. So I think if you want to be an AI digitally qualified, first have that inquisitiveness to actually understand what is this tool, how we can become better at it. Thank you, Radha, for inspiring us with that statement. Shri, I'm going to come to you. And the question is all about industrial research, because you're a pioneer there. My question is, you have pioneered AI ML models in predictive data science, especially in the energy consumption and machinery. Look at this. McKinsey is estimating that AI could reduce industrial energy costs by up to 15%, and this is the area where Srini has actually pioneered in the AI and ML model. The question therefore, Srini, is how do you see AI transforming this applied research and manufacturing operations, and could you give us a real-world example from your projects where you have actually predicted that AI can actually directly reduce cost as well as bring about efficiency?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, before I start answering this question, there are a couple of things I want to say. What I'm saying could be contradicting what the earlier speakers might have said. Right. The first thing I want to say is, I don't know how many people read newspapers here. Sometime. That's a problem. That is a problem, okay? Because Shekhar has a lot of questions of job loss, fear. That is why this question is. If you have been reading newspaper, I think it came in Times of India, if I'm not wrong, some few months back, there was an interview given by Google Pichai. Google Pichai has given an interview. It is there in Times of India paper. It is there. In fact, I have circulated to many people. Google Pichai, even though everybody knows about Google, but the beauty is Google Pichai is also predicting this Gen AI and AI is a big bubble, and it can burst at any time. Right. So that is the first thing you should keep in mind. Okay. It is like this Y2K, because it's a technology evolves, okay? Technology is not stagnant. It keeps on changing. So he himself has said, even though Google has invested, Alphabet has invested millions of dollars on this Gemini and others, but still he is making this statement. It is a statement made. Recently, 1 week or 2 weeks back, I'm sure everybody knows Kirti Vasan. Correct. Kirti Vasan is TCS CEO. He has given a statement. It's there as a part of quarter ending financial statement, that this AI adoptability of AI is just 5%. 95% it fails. At least this is the viewpoint of TCS. Whether it is for his organization or is he talking on a general perspective, I'm not sure. But these are the words we have to be very careful with, okay? The reason these people are saying is the investments made by the corporates has to be justified. They have to be very, very careful, okay? I just want to start with this statement because of so many things keeps talking here. Even though I'm an AI guy, but this is a reality, okay?
So here is an AI guy who is actually warning us that AI is a bubble. Why? Because it's always progressing. So if you're not, being agile enough to understand what it is doing, we'll get lost here.
Yeah. And one more thing, I think, okay, Ram was mentioning about AI 1955. Okay. Not a correction, it's correct. But you will not believe, I'm sure many are mathematics, statistics guy here, okay? So I also did a PGP there. So you will not believe, Shekhar, whatever is your linear regression, all these things, they call it as an applied statistics. Right. These things, I still have that book which was given in my PGP. I did it in Great Lakes. The statistics book which contain all the linear regression, if I am not wrong, it is already there from late 18th century.
My goodness, look at this, guys. Huh?
Maybe early 19th century. I have that soft copy still. So what we are talking about AI is nothing but statistical expressions, all kinds of statistical thing which is long, long back. And at least you should be, that's why sometimes as an individual, I feel that India is a little way back in getting into it, and we are trying to only copy what others are doing. That is the saddest part of it. But at least, if you take Amazon or Google, I think they are able to do an R&D. Sorry to go out of the topic.
Thank you for saying that, Srini. Yeah.
This is the first thing. Now coming to your topic, okay? Okay, we have been using AI at least I've been with the organization for 28 years, okay?
Wow.
So 28 plus years. So I've seen the evolvement of IT. Okay, I started my career when there were 98, when there were just 286 and 386 PCs, okay? So we've done various things, and here where we are. So what I'm trying to say is the evolving thing will be there. So it is not going to be a stagnant thing, okay? That is one. And second is when it comes to a predictive AI, I think somebody was answering questions. See, first of all, you should know AI is a big umbrella. AI is not running a software, getting an output. No. The AI is a general terminology. I think maybe he is there, so he can throw a little light on other things. Under AI, you have something called robotics. You have something called IoT.
Wow.
And you also have this Gen AI. Like this, there are a lot of umbrellas under AI. Okay, so people think AI is only to give some output. No, that is not the only purpose of AI. In a manufacturing industry, what we use AI is, we have done it in 2014 itself. So we use a lot of IoT related things where we automate the entire missions, okay? And the data missions generate, we collect all those datas, and then we do a lot of analysis based on the data which is collected from the mission.
Beautiful.
So that is where this predictive is possible. And that is one, and somebody was asking question on the AI projects, but I tell you out of real-time experience, minimum is you need, okay, we have done that, okay, we have done for a year. If you want an AI to give a meaningful response, and it's not exact, it cannot be 100% accurate.
Perfect, yeah.
Near to perfection, you need to collect 6 months of data, minimum.
Wow,
This is the basic requirement. Otherwise, there is no question of, there is no AI project at all. AI algorithm is very simple. That's what I consider. But the point is, for that to work data.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And for that, you should have a minimum of 6 months data. But if you take, I don't remember, but things like IBM Watson and all, they even go for a 1 year data.
Wow.
1 year of data to be collected. Only then anything you talk about predictive can even discuss. Otherwise, no company will give you anything. This is one.
Right.
Okay.
So Srini, this is so beautiful because what he has just said is that data is the new oil, data is power, and I always say that if you torture data long enough, it can confess to anything. So that's the power of data, guys. And he also said that AI is only the umbrella. கொஞ்சம் தயவுசெய்து கவனிங்க ஏன்னா அது ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கான்செப்ட் ஏன்னா ஆஸ் ஐ செட் நம்ம பக்கா ஃபினான்ஸ் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் கைஸ் இதெல்லாம் நான் கஷ்டப்பட்டு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கேன். He has said it so beautifully. AI is just the umbrella. அதுக்குள்ள நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா there is something called ML. அதுக்குள்ள பாத்தீங்கன்னா DL, அதுக்குள்ள நியூரல் நெட்வொர்க், அதுக்குள்ள பாத்தீங்கன்னா AI ஏஜென்ட், அதுக்கப்புறம் பார்த்தா ஏஜென்டிக் AI, அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் LLM. அதுதான் ரொம்ப அழகா சொல்றேன். It's only an umbrella. So thank you, Shini, for giving us that insight. I'll quickly come to Sudarshan and then come back to you. Sudarshan, this question is on that edge computing. Because Satyama is enna purivela. What is this edge computing? Edge lana ukarlam. Edge of the seat thriller paakalam. Edge computing na enna purivela. So the question is, you have worked extensively on embedding AI ML algorithms into both IoT as well as edge computing. Gartner projected that by 2025, முடிஞ்சு போச்சு வருஷம், it projected by 2025, over 75% of enterprise data would be processed at the edge rather than centralized data or even the cloud. Question is, what is this edge computing? Can you give us some examples and how is it going to really scale?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So now, actually, he gave me a platform to speak. He told all my, prerequisites, which I am going to talk about. Okay. Now, I am going to answer in a way that I will be pitching it to audience. Okay. You guys all belong to commerce group, correct? Majority of you are commerce background. Even though I belong to engineering background, I am going to give you a simple example so that you could understand the topic too. Okay. So, as he said, edge computing is basically computing something at the source. Okay. Which means, as he told, you need 6 months of data or 1 year of data as a sample so that your LLM could work. He asked a question that, do I have to teach the latest laws to the AI? Okay, AI is basically just like you, but with higher computational knowledge as well as capacity to learn faster. Very simple. Okay, somebody will be training, some human will be training your AI and it will be updating itself. Okay, you teach something to it. Okay, it's going to learn at a much higher, faster rate and it's going to do calculations at a faster rate. Very simple. Okay, you use calculators, right? You cannot do calculations at 12 digit or 13 digit, but you know the basis of mathematics. Simple way, your AI is going to do computations at a higher pace. Now, let's get into edge computing, okay? In order to do edge computing or in order to learn what is edge computing, let me give you an example, okay? The moment you give some input to it, it will already start processing the informations at the source, okay? So many of you would have used, Gemini AI to make your picture different, right? Make me this pose, or you would be giving a lot of prompts to make your image in a better way, correct? So that is basically a cloud computing. You will be giving some instructions to the AI, and then you will be giving some examples. Okay, this is my photo. I want my photo to look like this. This is basically cloud computing. You are going to give information. The AI is going to take some time to read those informations and then produce output which you want to. Now, we will be moving into edge computing. Before, the AI is already trained to do a certain way, trained to behave in a certain way. So, the moment you give some input, it will automatically start computing it, and then it will give an output at a much faster rate. Okay, I will give you a real-time example. Okay, you have self-driving cars now. Tesla has given self-driving cars, correct? So if the previous technology exists now, so what basically will it happen is, your Tesla will capture a photo. That photo will be fed to a cloud computing, which is a storage space, okay? And then the computation will happen, and then it will give you a feedback after a time lag, which you call latency, okay? But that will change depending upon your internet connectivity, depending upon which LLM model which you use. So, considering all these things, it will take a small time lag. So within that time lag, you might face any accident, correct? But if you use edge computing, the computer is already computing everything at real time. You have a camera, you have connected your AI, you have already trained it to do something. Okay, let's just say I'm traveling at a speed of 60 km/h. There is a car in front of me which is moving at the same pace. So if it brakes, will I hit it or not? Okay, if you take the previous technology, which is cloud computing, within those computational time lag, you would have already hit the car. Okay, but since it is calculating everything at a real time, it would already predict whether what's going to happen or not.
This is so beautiful, Sudarshan, because how many of you have seen this TV series called Flash? The padama kuda vandu poku, Flash. Have you ever heard of this, Flash? Poi paarenga adu. So Flash na avla vegama oru velaiya mudikum. That's what he's trying to convey. Cloud computing ko edge computing ko oru vidyasame enna appadina speed, at the same time how it can predictive it better towards efficiency and accuracy.
Probable algorithm lende predictive algorithm.
Probable lende predictive algorithm. That is so beautiful, Sudarshan.
But I would add something else. Enna ivar sonnadu, which is also true, which means you need a larger number of samples in order to go to that predictivity.
Beautiful.
Okay,
so you need a large data set. Beautiful.
Eppdina, in the same example, nariya accidents I would have fed to the AI. Based on that, it will calculate.
Beautiful. So data is the new oil, guys. Let's not forget it. As much more data you're able to process, I think accuracy can also improve. Radha, I'm going to come to you, and this question is mainly on the cost of AI adoption for Indian enterprises. Because you've been speaking globally, but what about Indian enterprises? So there is this recent study by International Data Corporation that is saying that 65% of the Indian companies, they are citing the high cost of model training and infra as the number one barrier to AI adoption. Avla expensive arka. Question is, you are a strong advocate for frugal innovation in Indian SaaS. Evla frugal adu implement panna mudiyum. Therefore, how can we ensure that no cost efficient AI can be adopted by mid-market enterprises?
I'll start with the example of having my own teammates. I have a 3-member AI team. All of them are second year, third year, final year students. Brilliant minds. But enna issue abdina, for example, let's say DG Vaishnava decides to adopt AI, right? What people generally think is, okay, motta college ko AI project pandrom. Angeda, most of the people go wrong, because that's when you will need your own service, you need your own data centers, or you purchase servers, or you pay for data centers, then you pay for GPU cloud computing project, run prod la vaarathukku $500 agum. Server on arukumbodhu kaasu neenga use pandringlo illiyo, server on la irundha kaasu. That's how AWS makes so much of money, right? Then we will have, okay, oru data scientist veno, oru AI person veno, oru ML engineer veno, ஒரு கோர் டெவலப்பர் வேணும், ஒரு ஃப்ரண்ட் அண்ட் டெவலப்பர் வேணும், இவங்க எல்லாத்தையும் பேசுறதுக்கு ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம் மேனேஜர் வேணும், அப்புறம் ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜர் வேணும், தென் we will need a internal business analyst. So இவ்வளோ பேர் எடுத்து வச்சிருவாங்க. Then they will say, oh, we don't have enough data. We have not on CRM systems also. We only have Excel data, Excel. Every department is using Excel. The way to go about it is actually take a small project. Let's say I want to have an AI layer to the attendance. Let's say attendance is being done manually in one of the department. We will say, okay, attendance data ellame Excel sheet la irukku or in one tool la irukku. Somebody is manually taking the reports and sending it. How can we automate this one person daily task? That's how you start with AI. Then you replicate the attendance management system with all the other departments, streamline the operations in one particular department, with all the other use cases. Okay, inge vandu hybrid classes irukku, anga hybrid classes illa. So inge vandu 5-day work week, anga vandu 6-day work week. So you work out all of these use cases with a bare minimal cost. Wherever you can run it in-house, run it in-house. All you need is probably a little bit more costlier or a Mac madri or a system irundha podum. You don't need to pay for AWS, you don't need to pay for a run pod, etc. If you're trying to connect two systems, N8N is more than enough, right? So both the systems will have API, just go with N8N. You don't need to have your own AI layer on all of it. Most of your applications will already have an AI layer. If you're using something like Salesforce, Oracle, or Zoho, they are updating their own AI layers. This is where most of the mid-market go wrong about it, because it doesn't get to the level of, unlike nobody on the CX level sits on these AI calls. They're only on the decision-making financial check signing calls, right? So the youngsters are, they don't want to stop the youngsters as well, but the youngsters know only this, right? They don't know what happens. And then what happens in mid-market is also, there's one department who has done an AI, which is not known for the other department. They end up doing the same thing. And then in some cross-connect post or something, then they say, you know what, we did this, and then another department also, we did this. Only then the management will realize we have paid it twice. Right?
Exactly.
So this is where the cost is actually increasing. But if you look at the GPU computer...
Viable product in the world of startup, MVP in Choluvom, where you only need functional things. I always say that whenever you want to start with an activity in a big way, start slow, start small, build gradually, build strong. That's exactly what she's trying to communicate. Saying that, why do you have to look at everything at one go? Look at the sharing, way also. We are all in sharing economy. So why can't we do that? So Radha, thank you for explaining that in such a beautiful way. Shri, I'm going to come to you, but it's a very, very tough question for me, because sometimes the question is the perils of AI and mission critical systems. Guys, I'm using the word mission critical systems. Now, you are an expert in Oracle, but Oracle often runs on mission critical operations. In fact, Gartner reports that 40% of the AI projects fail to move past the pilot stage due to integration challenges. Even the pilot stage, they cannot move because of integration challenges. So the question is, from your experience in leading enterprise system migrations and AI deployments, what risk should researchers be more mindful of when embedding AI into core systems, and how can they overcome the barriers? Guys, listen carefully. It's a very important question, guys.
See, first of all, AI means I also add Gen AI also to it. I'm going to take both together. See, as you said, yes, even we are running on Oracle application system, Oracle e-business suite with Oracle database as a backend. And you'll not believe SRF has been running since 1996 onwards. Okay, so we are the first people in India to use Oracle itself, Oracle e-business suite, I mean.
First to use in India SRF, guys, Oracle. Look at that.
Suite. Okay. So for us, Oracle e-business suite is the mission critical application which is running. You will not believe it can't be down even for half an hour. 15 minutes also, my Oracle e-business suite cannot be down. So that is the meaning of a mission critical. So we are also embedding AI into it. See, one very important, there are a couple of points which you should be very, very careful. When you are bringing AI or a Gen AI into it, the security is paramount important. Okay, you have time, no? Because I can talk a lot. That is a problem.
Make it,
Sorry,
from a student angle, yes.
I will tell you, I'll give you an example, okay? I am also, you mentioned in my thing, Agile PLM. Okay?
Correct, Agile PLM, yes.
We also, there is something called ELM, okay? So I also had, we have a scientist division. SRF has got one division called only for scientists.
Guys, SRF is part of the prestigious Shriram group, and here is an expert who has worked for more than 28 years, if I'm right? 28 years, yeah.
So we have a scientist group. So now I'm actually, we already have a software or application running. Now I'm also looking out for an international product because that will expire in 26. So I need to replace that that product with a new product, okay? So this is not a normal transaction system. This is an application used by the scientist, a core scientist, okay? There are a lot of things. If I dwell into it, I think time will be gone.
Right.
What you should remember is, so I work along with the scientist of our organization. You will be astonished, they are not even ready to have a system on the cloud.
Right.
You are talking about embedding AI into the system.
Right.
They are not even, because you know, a scientist data is the research data is a core for the organization.
Exactly.
Okay. But the beauty is, so even convincing them, even for a SaaS-based solution, I'm finding it difficult. What we are asking is, okay, we can go to a cloud, but that application should be hosted in my tenant. No,
Got
I
it.
don't want a common SaaS platform.
Right. So it's a premise,
that is-
on their premise.
That
Yeah.
is the security which is paramount. I'm sure this will be in many of the organizations. Okay, so when you're going to embed an AI or a Gen AI into your core system, which many organizations will be very, very, very careful, because the point is, it's a selfish point. I want to use AI. AI is not only processing your local data. First, we all should be clear on that. When I use my AI, I can get so many world data. Okay, for example, I'll tell you, when I'm embedding my application, AI into my application, let's say scientist, basically it's chemistry. It's actually a service, a chemical company, okay, pharma and chemical. So my scientist will be interested to know for developing these molecules, what are the various chemical combination or chemical reactions which is there in the world. It wants to know. That is a good thing. That is the selfish part.
Correct.
But at the same time, I don't want my data to go out.
Exactly.
So
right.
that is what you have to be very careful, because once you embed into your core system, there is a good chance the critical data will go. And I'm telling you, out of my experience, I don't think most of the organization in the world, they will, whatever the AI's capability, there will be a barrier. Beyond a barrier, I'm sure that AI cannot touch.
Students, this is so profound to listen to Srini, because what he's saying is something that is very, very practical. எனக்கு எதா புரியலன்னு வெச்சுக்கோங்களேன், I use something called SME. SME னா என்ன தெரியுமா? எனக்கு எதா புரியல அப்படின்னா I use a SME. யாருக்கா தெரியுமா what is SME? Super. Give him a background of applause, guys. You have to use somebody called subject matter expert. எனக்கு தெரியல, out of syllabus. அப்படிலாம் இருக்க முடியாது. If you want to be better at what you're doing, what he's saying is that you have got scientists who are there to support you. At the same time, to ensure that it is protected, you want to also ensure that it is within the premise. It is not going to the cloud, because they always have the suspicion once it goes to cloud, whether it can be critically, safe. Okay? Beautiful, beautiful, Srini.
There's one more point.
Yes.
See, you have to be very mindful about cost also, because it will always start small. Because see, implementation, it's not a costly affair. But maintenance, running, you need to take into account your infrastructure costs and Llama subscription, Llama or whatever it is, so many things are there. So all those subscriptions, and then they will take performance has to go up, because there will be latency. Then when you keep adding your infrastructure layer, those costs are there. So when you are embedding into it, you need to be careful. And then the third most thing, you need to be very, very careful on the use cases. Without use cases, I think it will be very tough.
This is again a profound wisdom, because we spoke about the cost, in terms of how expensive it is. Pakka finance guy, I always say that costs are like fingernails. Fingernails irka namakke? So costs are like fingernails, we have to cut them constantly. Because if we don't cut them constantly, it keeps, growing unnecessarily. So I think it's a beautiful point. I come to you, Sudarshan, and this question, is something slightly different. The question is more from a resource-constrained research team. See, some of them, are into research, and I think there's always a constraint on the resource in terms of the money. Question is, India has over 90% of engineering colleges located outside tier 1 cities. You come from a non-tier 1. That's an example. And obviously non-tier 1 has got limited resource. The question is, based on your work in Salem as well as Tiruchi, how can smaller institutions leverage AI responsibly to ensure that the research output is always impeccable without any trap or unsuccessful adoption?
So initially we are going to look at cost.
Correct. Very true.
Okay. இங்கே இருக்கிற எல்லாருமே காமர்ஸ் கரெக்ட் எல்லாத்துலேயுமே யூ சி மணி மணி தான் நம்மளோட இம்பார்ட்டண்ட்டான ஒரு ஃபேக்டர் வி ஆர் கோயிங் டு மேக் ப்ராஃபிட் அட்லீஸ்ட் யூ டோன்ட் லூஸ் மணி சிம்பிள் இதுதான் கான்செப்ட் பட் இப்போ நீங்கள் கேட்ட அதே கொஸ்டின் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா டியர் 2 ஹவு கேன் அ டியர் 2 ஆர் டியர் 3 கேன் கேட்ச் அப் வித் டியர் 1 the one basic thing which we are doing wrong is we are trying to catch up okay by skipping a lot of steps. If you compare other countries, நம்மளோட AI கொஞ்சம் behind தான் இருக்கு டெக்னாலஜியில் okay. If you compare within cities, if you compare Bangalore to Chennai, Bangalore would be more advanced.
Right.
Okay. If you compare Chennai to another city like Erode or Salem, which I live in, it's going to be a little behind. Okay. So what we basically should do is, all these things will already have calculated some test cases.
Correct.
Okay. அப்போ ஒரு tier 3 சிட்டியோ ஒரு tier 4 சிட்டியோ இல்லை tier 2 to tier 3 சிட்டியோ tier 1க்கு கேட்ச் அப் பண்ணுறதுக்கு ட்ரை பண்ணவே கூடாது.
Okay, right.
Okay. What they should do is, they should gradually improve themselves so that there will be a point where you will have an equal playing field. Because currently AI is an equal playing field. எங்க ப்ராப்ளம் வரும் அப்படின்னா implementation of AI அவர் சொன்னதுதான். Next is, மேடம் சொன்ன மாதிரி you need a lot of money to avail a cloud services. ஒரு cloud serviceக்கு நான் avail பண்ணும்போது initial cost will be lower. அப்புறம் infrastructure cost will be more. I will keep on adding things இல்லை. So what I should do is, locally what I can do first.
Beautiful, right.
Okay, let's just say I'm living in Salem. Salemல இப்போ what problem in real time which I can solve with the current resources I have. Number 1. Number 2 is, tier 1 cities in the problem already solved பண்ணிருப்பாங்க.
Correct.
Okay, they would have faced something in a previous thing. Okay, அதனால தான் அப்போ அவங்க கரண்ட் அட்வான்ஸ்மெண்ட்டுக்கு போகும்போது நம்ம டைரெக்டாக அந்த ஸ்டெப்பு போகவே கூடாது. அவங்களோட கரண்ட் அட்வான்ஸ்மெண்ட்டோட ரிசல்ட்ஸை யூஸ் பண்ணி டெஸ்ட் கேசஸை யூஸ் பண்ணி நம்ம இங்கே இருக்கிற ப்ராப்ளமை சால்வ் பண்ணும்போது இட் வில் பி மச் குவிக்கர். பிகாஸ் கோயிங் ஃப்ரம் 0 to 100 will take a lot of time. But the tier 1 cities have already achieved that 0 to 100. So அதோட டெஸ்ட் கேஸை வச்சு you will only start at 50.
Correct.
Okay, you won't be running all the scenarios on all the systems which they have already done.
Correct.
This is number 1. Number 2 is, since the tier 1 has already done all these things, the number of test cases and number of samples will be much larger.
True.
So இப்போ நீங்கள் ஜீரோலேருந்து ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணும்போது you have to search for samples. There is already samples available. Another thing is, you should not blindly trust it.
Right.
Okay, human intervention is needed. இப்போ உங்களோட காமர்ஸ்லேயே நீங்கள் எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னா, if I ask AI for some law or for some tax evasion something, okay, you should not blindly trust it.
Right.
So you need some subject expert.
Correct.
Okay, so you have to validate the previous test cases. If they are legitimate, then you can implement that in your own self. So that way you can catch up at a gradual pace rather than a rapid pace.
Sudarshan, நீங்க சொல்றது வந்து ரொம்ப அழகா இருக்கு. ஏன்னா what I feel from what you're saying is that more than the skill to make it happen, you should have the will to make it happen. India, you should not think that I'm only from tier 2 or tier 3. You're able to understand, but you're able to also apply a better, ability to even make it happen. In fact, Surya or படத்தை ரொம்ப அழகா சொல்வார், கஷ்டப்பட்டு உழைச்சா ஜெயிக்க முடியாது, இஷ்டப்பட்டு உழைச்சா தான் ஜெயிக்க முடியும், செய்யற வேலையை விரும்பி செய்யணும். So I think this is the beauty of tier 2, tier 3, where I think if you're able to do it with much more passion, much more will to make it happen, I think things just happen, literally, right? Radha, I'm going to come to you because the question is now slightly different. It's on AI transparency and explainability. Because today we speak about responsible AI, which means can AI explain? That's what we're looking at. The question is, according to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, only 20% of organizations globally have deployed explainable AI framework. Now, Zoho is always known for ethical and privacy-first development. That's the beauty of Zoho, guys. Absolutely ethical. They believe in data privacy. The question is, what practical steps can Indian AI builders take to ensure that the models remain interpretable and auditable, especially when deployed in a high-trust domain like healthcare, fintech? We spoke about cyber fraud. How do we ensure this?
So, because we have a lot of BCom graduates, very recently it was made mandatory that Tally should have audit logs.
Wonderful. So happy to hear that Tally should have an audit trail. Very good.
Yes. So, very recently, just a couple of years
Guys,
ago, it
please
was
listen
made
carefully, guys. Idella unga subject. Daisede guys, please listen carefully. Huh? Beautiful point she's making, ma. Tally nariyati na use pannirken. Audit trail irukadu. She's putting it very beautifully. It's been made mandatory that you should have audit trail.
So there is a reason on why they did that, right? When it's data and we can tamper the data, you need to know who did what when things go wrong, right? Even if things don't go wrong, you need to have some trust and transparency. When the audit log is there, people will know, okay, I am being tracked. I need to be honest the way that I'm using, right? Same goes to AI also. AI is only giving you, like any system, right? Whatever you input, it is giving you an output, right? Same way, AI also, you feed in something, you ask for something. The beauty of AI, and also why the reason it's hallucinating, is it can lead a large things at once. So we are taught to read either X or Y, right? It can research in all angle. For example, let's say in our website we tried this. Radha is the CEO, Shakti works at founder office, Sampurna is the delivery head. We have 3 offices. After the third attempt, we asked the same question again and again, who's the CEO, who's the CEO, who's the CEO? The third time it said Shakti is the CEO.
See,
the fourth
look at
time
that.
it said Sampurna is the CEO. Because that's how it is designed to read. It reads on all angles and gives you a better output, right? As simple as that. So when you are building an AI system, what you need to do is every time, if you are somebody from coding, you would know when you write a couple of lines of code, we wrote some info statements, right? If you are using any of the software, it would say record saved successfully. Are you sure you want to do it? These are the hints that you manually code to say, ensure that you are correctly doing it. The same way you will also code in AI as well. You say, okay, this is the input that I'm going to give. This is the output that I need, but I also want you to have a reasoning into it. So we have done that in our CRM system itself. We receive a lot of leads on a daily basis. So if I'm the salesperson, what I will do is, let's say I am getting a lead from SRF, right? The salesperson will first go to SRF website. Who is the person? Then they will go to LinkedIn website. Then they will read all recent news articles on how big this company is, what is recently happening in this company. Are they a Fortune 500 company? There are about 15 steps that I do manually. Now this has been automated with AI. On top of it, what we did was gave it a scoring. We gave it a structured method. If the company has 1,000 plus employees, give 10 points. If the company is more than 3 decade olds, give another 20 points. If the company is one of the Fortune 500, give 50 points, or Fortune 50, give another 100 points, right? But then we also asked them to, after answering every questions, we asked the AI to say, where are you getting this data from?
Right.
Everything will be in the CRM notes. So whenever a lead comes today, there are about 10 leads which comes today. The salesperson will have an AI scoring. She will sort it with the AI scoring, but then go into SRF and then say every question and the answer and the reasoning for the answer and the reasoning for the scoring as well.
Beautiful.
This is needed. So if you are mindful of this, then whether you are writing it for government, healthcare, or any financial institution, or even deep tech kind of a work that you're doing, this reasoning is very important. Minor changes, that's all. Earlier we used to do it in Excel. Now we're doing it in Tally. Now the next is we'll be doing something in an AI agent. Minor baby steps, that's all.
Very, very beautiful put, Radha, because this explainable AI is called XAI. Yes, give her a big round of applause, guys. That's a beautiful answer. In the explainable AI, XAI nu solluvom. Enna pandrona yaar thappu panna? Because you are responsible to give the answer why the mistake occurred. Inga ummiyave nalla idla kekkalam, where is the, or who is the black sheep? Romba alaga kekkalam. Yaar pa andha karuppu aadu? Dhenima inga kekkalam. I always said it's always a case of garbage in, garbage out. நம்ம தப்பா கொடுத்தா தப்பா தான் கொடுக்க போறது. So input outputக்கு வந்து நம்மளும் தான் காரணம். That's a very, very beautiful answer. Shrini, I'm going to come to you. You work for SRF, a very, very large organization, but question is all about how do you scale from an AI perspective? Accenture notes that only 12% of companies have scaled AI successfully. இவ்வளவு AI பத்தி பேசுறோம் இல்லையா? And Accenture is saying that only 12% of organizations have scaled AI successfully. Question is, from your experience in leading enterprise migrations, what are the biggest barriers for scaling AI in large organizations, and how can researchers design solutions that can move into beyond pilots for adoption?
Yeah. First of all, you need to be very clear with the use case, okay? So, problem in the industry is, like we were talking, agentic AI is there. So, this happens even in our organization. So, what the board will feel, if you are not using it, it's as if that you are way behind.
Right.
That is the first blind notion they have. But the problem is, the biggest problem is, you need to have a very clear use case. That is one. Without a clear use case, it's a simple, like what is the purpose? See, problem is you should not use AI for the sake of AI.
Correct.
Technology should never be used for sake of technology. This is the biggest mistake in India does. Because see, we always feel if you don't, Indians don't use it, we always feel we are far left behind with the US. No, that is not the point.
Right.
I also know a lot of US companies who are far behind Indian companies. Okay, that's a big topic. So point is, you should have a very clear use case. And first of all, you should see whether that use case requires an AI. Blindly people go for AI, which is a big mistake. Okay?
Got it.
And you will not believe, Shekhar, for last 12 years, we have done a lot of AI projects. Most of it has never crossed POC.
My goodness. Look at this.
So it is a sunk cost.
Sunk cost, right.
It is actually a sunk cost. But yes, wherever we have taken time and wherever we have put in our effort, we have done it, which means
Beautiful.
The use case is clear. I'll give you an example. There is a manufacturing line going on.
Right.
Okay, we call it as the workman will be standing and he will see whether any defective product is coming. It's a basic example I'm giving. The same thing you can do it with a AI.
Right.
You can use an advanced computer vision.
Right.
So when you do it through that advanced computer vision, the problem is when you do a POC, it look very good.
Correct.
Because in the POC, you will be giving 1 or 2 cases only. But the real-time scenario is little different because when you implement it in the production line, what comes in the production line, what you tested may be completely different.
Different, correct.
Which means what works well in a controlled environment may not
in the
work
life.
in a real-life
Correct.
production environment. Which means your testing or UAT environment should be like to like with the production environment. But the problem with AI is, that's the biggest problem. You need to envisage, like in this case itself, you need to see how many different kinds of defects can come.
Right.
And because the problem is AI will be tuned only for that. Okay, that is a basic thing. So you need to come out with various kinds of defects which can come.
Right.
So you have to build in all these possibilities when it comes. So if you are ready with those data, then that POCs can be converted into this. That
Beautiful.
is one.
Right.
And second is, you need to always think ahead and see what are the new scenarios which can come. So there are a lot of auto training and all is there, but the fundamental thing is AI can do what has been told. That is what you also said something
Correct.
back. So which means when new scenario comes, you should have a testing environment ready and it should be well in time so that before that gets commissioned, you have to bring that in and put it in. If you work in this orchestrated manner, then it can be a real good case.
Beautiful, Shini, beautiful. What Shini is saying is that tool in the pattadu, and the tool எனக்கு ஒழுங்கா யூஸ் பண்ண தெரியுமா அதை தான் நம்ம ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணுவோம் அதுதான் AI. I always say that a fool with a tool is still a fool. ஏன்னா they don't know how to use the tool, right? So அதனால that is the bigger message. In fact, மக்களே எடுத்தா இப்படி தான். We are not useless. We are used less. Unfortunately, இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு AI technology அப்படிதான். Sometimes we don't use it to its fullest potential. அது பண்ணாதனால என்ன ஆயிடுது அது யூஸ்லெஸ்ஸாக கண்ணுக்கு தெரியுது. We think it is so costly. அதனால தெரியுது burdensome. இல்லடா கண்டிப்பா no, it's such a useful thing. Sudarshan, I'm going to come to you and it is about the future of AI in applied research. because you're also, a research scholar. My question is, if you look ahead 5 years, with India projected to be a top 3 global AI market, probably top 2 or the chances irukku. Kelvi enna, what does a balanced research outlook like your field, embedded systems and IoT, look like in the future? And also, how do you see researchers, institutions and AI systems evolving together to achieve this balance of efficiency?
Actually, AI is developing at a faster rate. Okay.
Right, true.
Okay, we are also catching up.
Okay,
So, we are at a point where we cannot stop the advancement.
right,
This is basic. Ipo, actually, it can be used to our advantages, but to a certain extent. Ipo appadina, the control remains with you, while the computational remains with the AI.
beautiful, correct.
Which means, in future, okay, it's not going to take away a lot of jobs. Adikla na pole, okay. As Ram said before, the amount of jobs it takes away, it's going to give a lot of jobs.
Correct.
There will be always replacement. ஒரு டெக்னாலஜி போனதுக்கப்புறம் அது அப்சல்யூட் ஆயிடுச்சுனாலும் இன்னொரு டெக்னாலஜி வந்துடும் உங்களுக்கு. இப்போ கரண்ட் ஏஐ ட்ரெண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் ஃபியூச்சர் டெவலப்மெண்ட்ஸ் பார்ப்போம். இப்போ எப்படின்னா ஏஐ இஸ் கோயிங் டு டெவலப், பட் ஆஸ் ஆல் த பீப்புள் பிஃபோர் மீ செட், ஆர்டிஃபிஷியல் இன்டெலிஜென்ஸ் இல்லை, ஆகுமெண்டட் இன்டெலிஜென்ஸ்.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay, we will finally have, we will have the final say.
Right,
Okay, no matter what AI you develop, okay, it should only be used to your assisted advantage.
right,
Ebdina, as a researcher, if I am using AI, okay, I should not blindly trust AI on whatever it says.
correct.
Okay, but I can utilize it to its maximum computational potential. Ebdina, in reality, let's just say I have an idea. To make it into actual application, it will take me a lot of time.
True.
Okay, it will go through a lot of process, testing process, implementation, designing. So, ella process me it has to undergo. Only after a certain point I will know whether it's feasible or not.
Beautiful, right.
Because that is the difference between realistic and practical application.
Correct.
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 So, இப்போ அட்வான்டேஜா நீங்க ரிசர்ச்ல ஏஐ யூஸ் பண்ணனும்னா வெரி சிம்பிள் இஸ் புட் யுவர் ஐடியா த்ரூ ஏஐ,
Right,
find out whether it is feasible or not. That way it will be computationally advantage to you. Find the technology which can be used, validate it,
correct.
and then implement it at your own control.
Beautiful, right.
Okay, so all these kids can learn AI because, as I said before, it is an umbrella. Okay, it is not just a ChatGPT or Gemini AI or something else. It has n number of applications.
Beautiful, right.
As you asked me, I am from embedded system and an IoT background, so it uses multiple sensors and it's going to go through a lot of computational changes, and then I will be giving I will be getting some output. So, one, I should not trust AI completely. I should completely validate it. Two, I should retain all the important decisions that will be taken by it. But I should not completely ignore it because it has a lot of potential that can be done at a higher pace.
Sudarshan, ரொம்ப அழகா சொல்லிட்டீங்க. ஏன்னா you're saying that AI is evolving faster, but we are also catching up, which means we are in control. It's not as if வந்து AI ஒரு Terminator movie மாதிரி ஒரு machine டொபக்னா அப்படியே குதிச்சு நம்மள கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணுது, கிடையவே கிடையாது. We are the wire pullers, we are the controllers, and therefore your bigger message is that I think if we use that AI wisely and in a methodical way, it can be much more efficient. Rather, I'm going to come to a question which is very different on sustainability. The question is, a University of Massachusetts, they did a study saying that training a single large AI model can emit as much of carbon as 5 cars over their full lifetime. Just imagine, guys, carbon is almost like 5 cars, over their lifetime. Question is, Zoho being a privacy conscious, sustainable conscious, how should Indian AI companies think about sustainability, energy use, model efficiency, carbon impact, so that now we are actually conscious of the energy that it requires?
it just continues with the previous answer itself. So we don't define the scope so large, so it consumes a lot, right? So for example, if on the event nadatrom appadina, there could be 5 other auditoriums like this. Do we really need the biggest auditorium? Not really.
Correct.
20 பேர் உட்காரணும்னா 20 பேர் ஆடிட்டோரியம் போகிறோம், 50 பேர்னா 50 பேருக்கு போகிறோம், அதுக்கான எனர்ஜி எஃபிஷியன்சி போகிறோம். ஸோ யூ ஹாவ் டு பி ஃப்ரூகல் இன் த வே தட் யூ decide all of these things. And as sir said, it all starts from the use case. What are you trying to solve? Correct. Is it really value? For example, we recently working with a customer, so they gave us a use case, and after 2 months I realized this is not going anywhere. I'm like, what is happening? 2 months the team is continuously researching the same fresher guys that I was telling you about. Then I see it's idhukku AI thevallappa.
Right, correct.
Right? You don't need an AI for this. It's just an automation request. It's just a simple data prediction request. You can put it into Zoho Analytics, and Zoho Analytics, there's already an AI layer. You ask certain question, the customer is going to get it. It is right or wrong is something that the customer has to decide how important this is for their business. Either predict pandradhanaala, are they going to increase the sales by 10x
That's
or
the right
decrease the
question.
cost by 20x? This is where you need to start with. So once you start with all of these, the groundwork is done, then your frugality in place, then you have the right team and so on, and then you measure. It could also be a large project again, which is running for a couple of months and you're using so much of infrastructure and everything. But then be very, very conscious of, is it really needed to run on weekends?
Correct.
Is it really needed to run, throughout the months and years? Do we need a large data set? For example, நான் இப்போ organization-wise நான் ஏதாவது பண்ணுறேன்னா தான் எனக்கு entire org data set தேவை.
Correct.
இல்லைன்னா நான் ஒரு பேரோலில் ஒரு சின்ன விஷயம் எடுக்க போகிறேன், எனக்கு பேரோல் டேட்டா போகிறோம். ஐ டோன்ட் ஈவன் நீட் அட்டெண்டன்ஸ் டேட்டா. எனக்கு பேரோல் ப்ராசஸ் பண்ண டேட்டாவே போகிறோம். I don't even need the rest of the other data. So as much as you have clarity in all of these things, you can see that your work will greatly get reduced.
ராதா ரொம்ப சிம்பிளா சொல்லிட்டாங்க. சும்மா சஸ்டைனபிலிட்டி வேர்ட்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணாங்க. சஸ்டைனபிலிட்டி இஸ் நாட் அபவுட் டிக்கிங் பாக்ஸஸ், இட் இஸ் அபவுட் கிரியேட்டிங் அ லெகசி ஆஃப் பாசிட்டிவ் இம்பேக்ட் that can transcend generation. On the level and then you think of sustainability. Otherwise, ask this question, is there real need for AI here? If it is not there, why do you even break your head? Because if you simply use AI, there's going to be a lot of energy consumption. In fact, another the data center solradhu oru vishayam, but the amount of energy it consumes is unbelievable, guys. So we have to be carefully and sincerely you understand whether AI is required there at all.
I just want to add one point, sorry. Somebody was asking about tools earlier. So in the AI, it is like Chitti Robo Mari. Podana potro. Inika, I was talking to it saying, I am going to DG Vaishnava College today. Adutha line adupadukulla mail anuprama takkana enter amchiten. It starts saying, what should you wear? How should you go? How long is it from your place? Irina adala onta kekve illa wait.
Look at the power of AI.
Yes. So it will just assume is wherever you stop. Even if you take a pause, that's all the input that is for. Then you need to, give clear instructions. It could be 10 lines, 15 lines, 20 lines, and that's how these people are building their own products as well in the name of vibe coding. There is a website called promptcowboy.ai, right?
Promptcowboy.ai.
Yeah. Okay. So this will tell you how to talk to AI, right? So that way, again, using all of these is also, consuming a lot of energy, right? There are people who are talking about their friends and girlfriends and how do I propose and all that.
Correct.
AI has become a personal friend for most of us. But when you're using it for work and learning, use promptcowboy.ai. And then often students ask me, like, you keep talking about AI. What is actually happening? What are the use cases? You keep saying use case. What is the use case? There is a website called There Is an AI for That. That's all. There is an AI for that. That has about, should be a few lakhs of AI agents globally people have developed, right? So recently somebody is vibe coded their Swiggy delivery and all that on a daily grocery. Though I'm against, you don't need daily groceries from Blinkit, right? You can have a monthly grocery. So those are the things that, are debatable in terms of the habits. But there is an AI for that is a website. You can see what people are building. This could give you a lot of inspirations. You can go and search for what are all the finance AI agents available. How is the Western world or the other worlds using AI for their business in terms of finance if you're looking to study abroad or anything. These two websites are very helpful.
Radha, I am taking as a personal messages, AI தெரிஞ்சா பத்தாது, AI எப்படி கேள்வியை கேட்கணும், அது ரொம்ப important. That's a beauty. Shri, I'm going to come to you, and this question is on workforce transformation, automation also. Not just transformation, automation also. The question is, PwC projects that AI could automate up to 30% of jobs by the mid-2030s. Look at this, 30% of the jobs, it could be automated by 2030s. From your experience, How should researchers and institutions prepare the workforce for this transformation, especially in the industrial and enterprise domain where human expertise is so critical?
Okay.
Research are so critical, right? Human expertise.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'd like to say, okay. See, we had put up a factory in Hungary, I think this would be 5 years back. Okay,
Right.
4 years or 5 years back. You'll not believe when you put up a factory, there is a huge sea level of difference between putting a factory in India and in Europe. Okay, their employee cost is very high. You know what we did? Okay, you might have heard these terminologies. Now there are a lot of concepts called dark factories coming.
Correct.
China is already out with it. I don't think dark factory concepts will come to India this early. But what we did,
What is dark factory? Yeah, he wants to explain. Yeah. Can you
Okay.
explain what is dark factory? Yes.
dark factory means when you, simple, English is very clear. When you enter into a factory, the factory will be dark, which means nobody will be there. Only machines will be there. Which means the entire production process itself is automated. Not even, that is a
Everything
prediction.
automated, yes.
Completely automated. In fact, when we had put up our factory in Hungary, because the call is, the cost is very important. So the entire process is automated, which means
Correct.
process one manufactures. It has been fine-tuned to see whether it is a right product or not. Then it gets automatically transferred to next process. Like that, okay, we'll put one or two. Just a human in the loop. That is a concept.
Right.
That human in the loop, and it goes on. So you can say that we didn't have what happened to the manpower. So the concepts, what is coming is manpower, existing manpower may not go. Okay?
Right.
What we will be doing is, my view is this is how all the large companies think. When they roll out new factories, okay, when they put up a new factories coming up, what they will do is they may not go for a new manpower.
Right.
They will be the once you do the existing automation in your factories, you may not need that much of manpower. So those manpowers with the automation will go for a new manpower.
Got it.
Because
Right.
this is the objective from the board, so you don't have an option in all these things. So this is how people do. So which means maybe a new guy getting a job may be impacted, but I don't foresee any existing guy getting impacted because of this. This is one. And second is, Shekhar, like all of us are saying, AI is inevitable. Okay?
Correct.
So we do, I think many organizations will be doing a lot of this AI fluency. We call it as AI fluency. So almost right from the workman to everybody, that AI fluency will be taught to them. And they also need to know what AI means, because they don't need to be scared.
Correct.
That is our objective, okay? So that AI fluency we need to put in. And the next point is, AI is not going to replace everybody. The organization needs to identify, let's say, what is the mundane jobs which
Beautiful.
needs to be done. Okay?
Beautiful. Correct.
Those mundane jobs will be taken out, because we have done, when you talk about AI, there's something called robotics, I said. So there is also a concept called RPA, okay? So which means it's a robotic process automation. The purpose of this is all the regular data entry job, simple.
Correct.
All the data entry job, all your clerical job, basically this is what is being targeted on a non-manufacturing side.
Got
okay?
it.
So you can say what will happen to the people. So what we do is, we will be training the users how to use that AI.
Right.
That human in the loop will be put into this, because when you go to RPA, there are various things, like it's an there is a automated RPA or human assisted RPA. So 2-3 categories, because each one is a license cost is there.
Right.
So organization can think in that way.
Got it.
If you have a manpower, you can make use of that manpower to run that RPA. You can say, then why do you need both? But the point is, when you do all these things through RPA, error is less, because
Correct.
manpower means error is more.
Correct.
And it will work day and night. You don't need all
Correct.
those things. but a human will always be there to basically supervise and see where it is. So which means retraining we do.
Beautiful.
So
Guys, give a
that's
big round of applause to Srini because what he has said is, எவ்வளோ ஒரு தைரியத்தை கொடுத்துக்காரு பாருங்களேன். என்ன jobs போவோம், repetitive, mundane, ordinary, இந்த மாதிரி jobs தான் போவோம். But he's saying that there is a mechanism by which those people will also be trained because there's something called human in the loop. This is what is going to help us become much more upgraded. How many of you know this word upskill? All of us need to upskill all the time, guys. Otherwise, you know, you have to be in something called continuous professional education. In the படிப்பு படிச்சா பத்தாது. Are you upgrading? Are you upskilling? அதுதான் லைஃபோட ரொம்ப important. And Srini, thanks for giving us the inspiration. Know that is, you know, very much possible.
Just one point, Shekhar. I think, I don't know, I don't think anybody would have heard about Industry 4.0. Maybe you would have known. So there's something called Industry 4.0. There is something, okay, it may not be much in India, but I think many international companies have done. There's something called Industry 5.0.
Correct.
Industry 5.0, no, what is the difference between 4.0 and 5.0? 5.0 is basically human in the loop.
Beautiful.
That is the difference.
That's okay. Thank you, Srini, once again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sudarshan, I'm going to come with the last question to you and then we'll open to the floor, okay? And this is, again, in my view, a tough question, you know, to frame also. The question is, what are the perils of over-reliance on AI, especially in IoT? Because we have been hearing of Internet on Things for a long time, industrial Internet on Things. But the question is, especially your career, you know, you've always been troubleshooting complex IoT systems. Unga CV paathala appadithaan theriyirudhu. Studies suggest that 30 to 40% of the IoT failures stem from misconfigured AI models or data pipelines. So the question is, from your experience, what risk do you see when researchers rely too heavily on AI without robust testing and validation?
Because the reason is, you know, if you, I will take IoT as an example, okay. As you said, misinterpretation. Basically, AI is what you teach it to be. Okay, based on applications, you are going to develop your own AI. AI is a big field. Okay.
Correct.
So, each and everyone will be developing an AI based on their own application, their own need. Okay. When you are commerce background, you are not going to look at AI for technology or something else. Correct? You will be, you know, let's just take an example. If somebody in this group develops an AI, most of it will be for a finance application. Correct?
Correct.
So,
True.
So based on your application, you will be developing it. Now let's get into IoT. IoT is reliant, lot of it on input, which is basically sensors. Okay. So if your IoT is failing, meaning you have not been teaching the downsides of your own application to your own AI.
So பிரச்சனையை ஒழுங்கா பார்க்கல. Correct.
இல்ல அதுக்கு சொல்லி தரல எப்படி எதை பிரச்சனையா பார்க்கணும்.
Right.
I will give you an example. Okay. எல்லா cars and motorcyclesல you will have a check engine light. Okay. Check engine light will happen for multiple reasons. Either your engine failure, petrol doesn't go to your engine.
Correct.
You know, everything else. Anna, it will also happen if your sensor fails too.
True.
Okay. So, in this application, if I am designing an AI and implementing it, if the check engine light is on, do not allow me to drive the vehicle.
Right.
Okay, because it might cause some accident.
Correct.
But I should also teach the AI to differentiate between the actual failure as well as the incidents which has happened in my car.
Got it.
So, என்னோட சென்சார் தான் ஃபெயில் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா my car will run fine.
True.
So, relying too much on IoT is என்ன அப்படின்னா, if you give it final decision to the IoT, it will definitely fail.
Got it.
Because one of the biggest reasons is, he told you and she also told you, you have been only doing IoT research on your laboratory.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay.
Right.
நீங்களாம் பைக்கோட அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் பார்த்துருப்பீங்க. Under laboratory conditions.
Correct.
This much mileage this bike or car offers. under laboratory conditions abdina, there is no environmental impact. You cannot predict the environment.
Correct.
Okay. I will explain it very simply with an example. I'm an IoT engineer. So I will be designing a escape route, under flood conditions.
Right.
Okay. Flood might happen because of the rain. Flood might happen if, a dam fails. Flood might happen for tsunami.
Right.
But my AI is trained by the past data.
Got it. Right.
2003 க்கு அப்புறம் இங்க சுனாமி வரல. ஓகே, லாஸ்ட் 10 year டேட்டா வச்சு நான் IoT டிசைன் பண்றேன் அப்படின்னா it will never see tsunami as a disaster that might happen tomorrow.
Correct.
ஓகே, அதே மாதிரி இப்போ சென்னையில ஹெவியர் ரெயின்ஃபால்ஸ் வருது.
வருதா? கரெக்ட்.
That happened in 2015, கரெக்ட். இப்போ லாஸ்ட் இயர் எதுவுமே நடக்கல. உங்களுக்கு வெள்ளம் வரல, பெரிய மழை இல்ல, தண்ணி எங்கேயுமே இல்ல.
Correct.
Correct. So nature is always unpredictable, but if you are designing something, you should rigorously test it with real time environmental conditions.
Beautiful.
So
beautiful.
if you rely on IoT, only IoT's output, it will always fail because it was never tested in real life scenario.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay, so in the application lay vechikiteenga appadina, if a cloud burst happens,
Correct.
okay, my IoT will not know whether a cloud burst happens or not. Okay, it will not have enough time to alert everyone. It will not have enough time to create an escape route. You will already be inside water. Another thing is, my sensors may fail at any time because it is physically available. Okay, majority, 99% of my IoT depends upon physical inputs, which is sensors. So based upon your applications, you will be using sensors. Okay, water sensor, soil sensor, temperature, heartbeat in your medical applications. So the moment my sensor fails, all the other steps which is dependent upon my input fails.
சுதர்ஷன் நீங்கள் ரொம்ப இன்ஸ்பைரிங்காக ஏன் சொல்கிறீங்கன்னா, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் எப்போ தான் ஒரு பிரச்சனை வந்ததுன்னா நம்ம பிரச்சனை வருது இப்படியே தான் சொல்லிருக்கோம் தவிர, சம்டைம்ஸ் வி டோன்ட் ஈவன் கோ டீப்பர் டு ஈவன் ரியலைஸ் வாட் டிட் ஐ மேக் ஆஸ் அ மிஸ்டேக் ஃபார் த ப்ராப்ளம் ஈவன் டு ஸ்டே தேர். இன்ஃபேக்ட் விஜய் சேதுபதி விக்ரம் வேதால் ரொம்ப அழகாக சொல்லுவான், எப்போதான பிரச்சனையை பார்க்காது, அந்த பிரச்சனை காரணம் என்னன்னு பாரு. ஸோ கோ டீப்பர் இன் டு த ப்ராப்ளம் ஸோ தட் யூ கேன் unroot the problem and ensure that it is correcting for your own good reasons.
That too, but you always need a fail safe.
Exactly.
Okay, always assume, if you are designing an AI, okay, one, always assume real time scenario, okay, and always assume it will fail.
Stop, make a
the
statement
moment
that
it
fail
fails,
and then start. Right.
the moment it fails, you need a fail safe.
Got it.
Okay,
Right.
so if it fails, you have something to rely on. If you rely too much on IoT and then if it fails, then it is already too much.
Superb. Guys, give a big round of applause, to these three amazing gentlemen. We're going to open up the Q&A. For that, I would also request Mr. Ram to join us, the stage, please. Mr. Ram, can we get one more chair, please? Or let me drag this chair. Guys, feel free to ask your questions. Mic and the pass pannunga. Student volunteers, take the mic. Please raise your hand so that we can come to you.
Wait. My dear students, normally you have the tendency to sleep in the class. When we are taking class, you may sleep. But can you sleep here? What a presentation. First, give a big round of applause. See, the way in which they have presented, scintillating and amazing, I'll tell you. You won't get it. You won't get it, in fact. Those who have not listened, waste. Physical presence, mental absence. What is the use? What for you are being called to the auditorium? I have talked to all the students in the classroom. I told you several times. Golden opportunity is knocking at the door. Please grab it. If you miss, it will be a costly miss. So many times, not one or two times. That is the reason I called other college students. 120 to 140 students have registered, in fact. We feel extremely delighted, in fact. All the 6 people, all genius, highly knowledgeable. Time, they don't have time. The affection towards us brought them here, in fact. What we are paying, are they coming for money? No, certainly not. Really not. You should understand that. Please, you should understand that. All of you should sit in the edge of the chair, in fact. That should be the spirit. When we are asking you to ask questions, you should come forward and ask questions. Come on. I'll tell you, they are not talking rocket science. They are talking about AI. Order of the day is AI. We are not tech savvy people, in fact. Almost we are retiring. But you don't have an alternative. You have to sail with the wind. You have to accept it. You have to, otherwise no job. You will be complaining. My friend has got a good job, sir. He has settled down life. Because he has worked hard. He has gone to higher position. You have not worked hard. You will not be getting the job. You will not come up in life. You will not think about getting a villa. You cannot think about buying Audi or BMW. Therefore, please come out with questions. Please come out. Yes. Let us give opportunity to others.
Come on, guys. The first one, raise the hand. First one, come on. This is a great opportunity, guys, you know.
Mr. Srinivasan was talking about dark factory. In those days, whether you believe it or not, Tatas, Shanganias, Mafatlal, Topper, Reliance, MRF, all these companies were starting industries which were labor intensive, you know pretty well. Especially I know about Sundaram Clayton Limited. Every individual's house, they have their promoters' photo, that is entrepreneurs. T.S. Srinivasan. He was affectionately called as Chima, in fact. God Mari avanga papar. That gentleman, even one or two mistakes are committed by the employees, he will not send the employees out of the company. Just he will orally warn. He will orally warn and immediately job will be given. And one more thing, in those days, what was the practice followed by Sundaram Clayton? Highly knowledgeable, highly qualified people, they will not give job. Do you know what was the reason given by that gentleman? Devada Vishwasam will be missing. Another 1,000, 2,000 rupees extra, another company is going to give, they'll switch over the job. But whereas these people, Vishwasa Thoda, they'll be working till the end. Everyone will be putting 30 years or 35 years of service. Therefore, country of our size, whether this dark factory is going to come, country will be ruined. Am I right or not, sir? What is your explanation?
Yeah. Actually, okay, I'd like to add, even I am working in a company for 28 years. And that too, I've been working in that company 28 years in IT itself. It is not that I worked in finance, this, that, and I come. No, only in IT, okay. But sir, I can understand your point. The same thing is with us also. But the point is, may not be dark factory as it is coming to India, not immediately. But the reality is, we have to accept the reality and proceed, okay. Very simple, sir. When you are running that to a manufacturing organizations, bottom line is very important. Whatever be it, this is the reality. Because you have to answer to the board members, you have to answer to the stakeholders, shareholders, everybody. Simple. Shekhar knows better. Even I am an investor in my company because I bought a set of shares. So I will be looking for a dividend. How can you give a dividend? Only when the bottom line goes up. How can a bottom line goes up? Okay. One is either you should come out with a new R&D, you should get into a new product where it sells more, or you have to increase the cost. This is the reality in almost all manufacturing companies. Increasing the price of a product, especially let's say in a B2B environment, it is very, very difficult. Because for us, let's say SEAT, MRF, all these guys are all customers, okay? So I cannot, even if my raw material cost goes up, I cannot directly increase my finished good product. That is why Shekhar mentioned about power cost saving, which I did. In fact, I didn't talk about it because of time. You'll not believe, part of my PGP, I did this project in one of my plants in SRF in Indore, okay? So that paper, it got published in IEEE. It was awarded one of the best paper at that time, 2022 it is, okay? So what I'm trying to say is, so that is why we are seeing how can we do the power cost. And similarly, employee cost is the easiest cost which comes into this is reality. It comes into the mind of any big corporates, okay? Any organization, otherwise you cannot run. So what they will try to do is, where all I can automate, how much I can automate, but the only point is, how can I do an automation which will never fail? That is where the human in the loop comes, because anything in IT, anything in electronics will fail one day. This is the reality. It cannot run for lifelong. It's impossible. No, whoever designs the system. So it's going to fail. So when it fails, I need a human in the loop. So, which means, that is why I think Shekhar or somebody was giving us statistics. There may be job losses coming. It's a reality. But what we are saying is, you need to do regular reskilling. That's what Shekhar also mentioned, upskilling, which means this Ram was saying he did a certification. I did, my age is 55, huh? Last year, October or... come on. So last year, so I did a Oracle certification. It's an Oracle AI certification. Okay, I don't need to do, but what I do is I do it because I need to inspire people. So to inspire people, I always do. So which means, like Ram and myself, even at our age, we are doing certification to understand the new technologies. This is this is a reality people have to do. Otherwise, what you were in those days, it's very, very tough. I'm talking blind reality, but dark factory may not come that fast here. But let's say number of people getting employed can reduce because of various automation, both in the manufacturing process line coming up, and also in various desk jobs, clerical jobs, all these things. This is the reality.
Come on. Do you have? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting topic, what you just mentioned. This is a very school of thoughts, okay? I lived about 22 years in US, okay? And US is extremely capitalistic. They are very cutthroat. It's very easy to work in US, but because they're very nice people, people don't really shout at you. It's like I worked in Hindustan Lever in India. Hindustan Lever is a very good company, everything is wonderful, but there will be constantly shouting in the whatever that's called, the line, shop floor, right? Constantly somebody screaming at somebody. I hated it. I went to America, everybody was very nice, very sweet, very good. But then I wondered, how is it they're able to get the work done? Because there is always a dagger hanging above you. If your work is not good, they will fire you. Hire and fire. Yeah. So this capitalistic idea is very, very well implemented in United States. Europe is not like that. Europe is much more. I have been in Europe too. I've been to 40 countries. I've seen in Europe very nicer people. They don't fire people that quickly. They worry about, if I fire, his wife and kids will not have a job, will not have their life will be affected. And the best thing is, better than even India, Japan is a country where they do not like to fire. So the biggest loyalty in the world is in Japan. Because, there is this belief, the company cares for me, and I will care for the company. So there are lots of conglomerates in Japan where people work for 40, 45 years and retire. So even better than India, Japan does that. And when a company does poorly, like say Mazda is a company not many people know about Mazda. Because Mazda was not as famous as Toyota or Nissan or Honda. So what the government did was, they took some of the profit of Toyota, Honda, and Nissan and gave it to Mazda. So everybody, every company will able to keep their employees. So this is a philosophical mindset. You know, these things will keep changing. Because I was talking about, I love Marxism, and not because I like Marxism, but I wanted to know why Marxism took so much of roots into the Western world. I mean, even in the case of Soviet Union or China or everything, and China has now changed. Even China, when if AI is used, they will not fire people in large quantity. America will fire immediately. They will rehire after 1 year saying that, oh, it did not work. But immediately they'll fire. So America is likely to experience this problem and this feeling that nobody cares for me. The company doesn't care for me. This feeling will be there. Yeah.
Tata Unisys' slogan, my asset comes in the morning and my asset goes in the evening.
Yes.
They care so much for their employees.
And one more thing. See, there was an article yesterday, Oracle, what we are talking, Oracle is going to lay off 30,000 people shortly.
30,000.
30,000.
My dear students, come out with questions.
One question, guys, come on.
Come on. Yes.
Beautiful. Give a hand.
Good evening, sir. Sir, my question is AI being a barrier for students' critical thinking? Because from small activities to big projects, we are fully dependent on AI's output. So I need your opinion on it.
We were told the same thing in our batch when I was in first year. My professor used to tell me, these days you have Google. I have to go to library, right? It just have changed, that's it. So I think quick information is very good. But it is, for example, how many hours you use Instagram and Snapchat? Some of you are doom scrolling, but isn't your consciousness telling you that you are actually doom scrolling, you should stop it, and then you go up and keeping reminders to say you should not use more than 15 minutes and so on. It's the same way with AI. Like all of us told, every time you get an answer, for quick helps is okay, but what's the point if the answer is wrong, right? What are you going to achieve from it, right? So today I can come prepared for this interview with giving quick answers, but then I will not know how to answer your question if you ask me back on that question, right? So for time saving, it's okay, but you need to be very mindful of, is it really stopping you from your critical thinking? Some of you are very, very artistic, right? So you should not ask AI to design posters for you. You should tell AI how you want the poster to be so that it can create it for you. Because I am not artistic, right? But I know how I want a poster to be. But I always depend on a designer. I give him the inputs, he designs it and give it to me. Or I depend on tools like Canva, but I don't have time to use Canva. I don't even know what colors go well with the combinations. So in this case, I will use AI, but then I will tell him how I want the poster to be, right? So that your critical thinking is also not stopped, but you're only taking help of where you're naturally not tuned to do certain things, right? So it's exactly like how you're using Snapchat and Instagram on a daily basis. You have to be very, very mindful. Are you learning from it, or are you just using it for the sake of using it, right?
I will continue on that, okay? You get a question very simple. It is not a hindrance. There is a tool available. You are using it. Okay. Engalku tool available, we will also use it. We used Google, as she said. Okay. In previous generations, you have libraries and research documents, they use that. So AI is not hindrance at all. But how you use it is an hindrance. Seriya? If you trust whatever it says, then you will stop thinking. But as teachers, you also have a responsibility because people are going to use AI. As a teacher myself, I initially also thought that, okay, all the assignments will be done by AI. There is no other go. So I changed the way how I ask questions. What is this? What is that? Write a document. You will always go to an AI. Correct? Like a case study. So, case study, real time scenario. எப்படின்னா, if you ask definitions, if you ask, working, you will go to an AI and then you will get an answer. But when it comes to real-time scenario, AI does not have an answer because it hasn't learned it. Okay, சில real-time scenarios AI க்கு தெரியாது because it hasn't happened. Okay, it might happen. அந்த test case க்கு AI has not been prepared. ஒரு சின்ன எக்ஸாம்பிளே சொல்றேன். Let's just say I win a lottery. Okay, you are all commerce students here, right? How much percentage should I pay as tax? இது நான் கேட்டா you will say 30%. Okay, AI கிட்ட நீங்க கேட்கும்போது it will say 30%. I will take a step further. I have won a lottery of 10 crores in Kerala. Okay, what amount of tax should I pay in Kerala? Should I pay a tax in Tamil Nadu or not? Okay, in what way the commissions goes? Is the next step. So when you ask these questions to AI, you will also question the steps. ஏன் இது அப்போ கேரளாவில் மட்டும்தான் பே பண்ணுமா, தமிழ்நாட்டில் பே பண்ணுமா வேணாமா, அப்போ எந்த டேக்ஸ் லாக்குள்ளே இது வருது? யூ வில் ஸ்டார்ட் கொஸ்டினிங் தட். இப்போ இன்னொரு ரியல் டைம் நான் சினாரியோக்கு நான் உள்ளே போகிறேன். ஓகே, ஃபெயில் டெஸ்ட் கேஸ். I already won a lottery, I did not pay tax, the IRS is behind me. Okay, in what way can I escape without getting arrested? Okay, penalty நான் பே பண்ணலாம், அப்போ நான் தப்பிச்சிடலாமா, எவ்வளோ நான் பே பண்ணால் நான் தப்பிக்கலாம்? இதை கேட்கும்போது AI does not have an answer. நீங்கள் அரெஸ்ட் ஆகிடுவீங்க, go surrender, இவ்வளோ தான் சொல்லும். Because what you have done is illegal. But as a commerce student, you will find a way, right? நாளைக்கே நீங்கள் ஒரு சிஏ ஆகுறீங்க, யாரோ ஒருத்தர் வந்து இல்லை, ஒரு ஹைப்போதட்டிக்கல் சுச்சுவேஷனுக்கே வச்சுப்போம். பிகாஸ் யூ வில் ஹாவ் கஸ்டமர் அண்ட் யூ கான்ஃபிடென்ஷியாலிட்டி, கரெக்ட்? நான் வந்து 10 கோடி ரூபாய் வச்சுருக்கேன், அது பதுக்கணும். யூ ஆர் மை ஃபைனான்ஷியல் அட்வைசர், யூ ஆர் மை சிஏ. ஓகே, என்ன பண்ணணும் சொல்லு. அங்கே நீங்கள் எத்திக்கல் டைலமா போவீங்களா? யூ ஹாவ் டு டூ இட் சம் வே. ஓகே, அங்கே தான் யூ வில் யூஸ் யுவர் ரியல் எக்ஸ்பர்டீஸ். அப்போ இந்த மாதிரி ரியல் டைம் சினாரியோஸ்குள்ளே நீங்கள் போகும்போது, டெஸ்ட் கேசஸ்குள்ளே போகும்போது, தே வில் ஃபைண்ட் அ வே. நம்பர் ஒன். another ஒன் இஸ், இப்போ ஏஐலேருந்து வரல அப்படின்னா ஏன் வரலன்ற கொஸ்டின் அப்போ தான் வரும், கரெக்டா? ஸோ ஏஐ டஸ் நாட் ஹாவ் எனி எத்திக்கல் ஸ்டாண்ட் பாயிண்ட் இன் மோஸ்ட் கேசஸ். பட் உங்களுக்கு இருக்கும். எப்படின்னா, உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்ச யாராவது ஒருத்தர் வந்து காசு கொடுத்து இது பதுக்க சொன்னால் நீங்கள் பண்ணுவீங்க, உங்களுக்கு தெரியாத ஒருத்தர் பண்ண சொன்னால் பண்ண மாட்டீங்க. கான்டெக்சுவல் ஸ்டாண்ட் பாயிண்ட் அங்கே தான் வரும். ஏஐ டஸ் நாட் ஹாவ் திஸ். அது லாஜிக்கல் ஸ்டாண்ட் பாயிண்ட் மட்டும்தான் இருக்கும். ஸோ ரியல் டைமில் ஃபெயில் டெஸ்ட் கேசஸ், லேட் டெஸ்ட் கேசஸ் உங்கள் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு நீங்கள் கொடுக்கும்போது, ஏஐ யூஸ் பண்ணும்போதும் ஏன்ற கொஸ்டின் அப்போ தான் வரும். யூ cannot stop somebody from using a tool. ஓகே மா, நீங்கள் கேட்ட கொஸ்டின் பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா, யூ ஷுட் நாட் ஆல்சோ ஸ்டாப் அட் த சொல்யூஷன். அது ஒரு சொல்யூஷன் கொடுக்குதா, நீங்கள் அதோட நிறுத்திடக்கூடாது. ஏன் அந்த சொல்யூஷன் வந்ததுன்னு நீங்கள் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா, யூ வில் நெவர் பி ஸ்டாப்டு பை ஏஐ. ஓகே, யுவர் கிரிட்டிக்கல் திங்கிங் வில் நெவர் ஸ்டாப் தட். ஓகே,
Srini sir, we just discussed about that embedding AI into an application, correct? That chemicals. See, and I didn't get you when we discussed that various chemical equations are involved. You were discussing various chemical equations. That time only you call for an SME, is it? Or if you're able to figure it out ourselves?
No, I'll tell you. The point is, let's say scientists are working in a laboratory, okay? So let's say before this AI, what we will do, what scientists will do is, we manufacture, let's say, pharma intermediates, which means they keep coming out with the new molecules, okay? So I'm just giving you an example. So one option is, with the repository we have got over the years,
That is the information, repository of information.
Repositories information.
Fine.
So I can always say 3 years back we did like this, we used this combination, these chemicals we combined, and this is the proportion, so like this. But let's say when I'm using an AI, okay, can a Gen AI give a suggestion? I want a molecule to be developed which has certain compositions. Okay, a molecule should be like this. To design a molecule like this, what should be my chemical equation?
That is, you are consulting the AI. for
Yeah,
it.
that is the purpose of Gen AI. So Gen AI, but see, it is very difficult because
Then scientists are not required. If you are asking Gen AI what's the composition, then why are scientists needed?
no. Scientists will evaluate whether that is what he is saying. No. So
yes.
scientist has to evaluate whether it is right or wrong. So human in the loop is always a point. So, but the point is whether Gen AI can give such suggestions. But the problem is this it can do only if other organizations had allowed their database to be referred by the Gen AI. That is the point.
And we were discussing when you embed AI into the data, risk is we should retain the existing data. That's what you are saying, correct? Loss of critical data.
See, point is when you embed the AI into it, like whatever we are asking Gen AI, this data will, because let's say I'm using a Llama or a Gemini, what it will do is it will convert the metadata, and that metadata will go and sit in, let's say, in their server.
Which I didn't get. That's what I didn't get. I couldn't follow.
No. Our data, it's called data privacy is lost. So which means my data which is residing in my company, once I expose it to Gen AI, because it's not my Gen AI, I have to use a Llama, which means I'll be using an API which is given by those company, which means it will convert into metadata. So okay, that is a technology part. Okay, so which means there are good chance that Llama which I'm using can take my data and it can store in its repository, which means some other company is trying to refer, it will use this data for them.
But
So
how
which-
will the other companies do that? You use Llama until you reveal it yourself, isn't it?
See, not like that. Better.
So guys, thank you so much. Let's again give them a big round of applause, guys. It's been such wonderful having the three of you, and of course, Ram as the keynote speaker and the other Ram, for the fireside chat. I just want to conclude with this. Guys, research is humanity's endless pursuit. Forget about AI. எதாவது ரிசர்ச் பண்ணணும்னு ஒரு ஹியூமனிட்டியோட endless pursuit அது. What is research? Research is a bridge between imagination and innovation. ஒன்று இமேஜின் பண்ணுறோம், அதை எப்படி நம்ம innovate பண்ணி எடுத்துன்னு வரணும். So today AI, if you ask me, is the newest companion in this journey. It's just a companion, and use it very effectively. That's the message. So on that note, let's conclude this session. Thank you guys once again. Thank you so much.
Just one point here. Actually, I was really surprised when they said research. I thought, okay, it's an engineering college or some science. I was asking the guy who came with me, one person. So I asked him, he said he's a commerce guy, second year or third year, something he was telling me. Then I was wondering what research you'll do in a BCom or something. To be very honest, I'm really surprised. But if so many people are sitting, I'm sure, I hope DG Vaishnava can take commerce into a different level. I'm really happy for that.
At this juncture, here, two eminent personalities have come. One person by name Mr. Kannan, 1969-1972 batch. I request him to come to the dais. Another person, Mr. Muralidharan, please come. 1978-1981. We do things differently. We want to honor two gentlemen. Both of them are sitting from the morning till the evening. Whereas you youngsters, you are not listening. Thungare, pesare. Rendu very aged people put in more than 40 years of service. Still very active, in fact. Satish, Papa. Come on, give a big round of applause. My dear students, Vaishnav students, other students also, wonderful day. Really, from the morning till now, thoroughly enjoyed. Tomorrow, be here by 8:10. Sharp 8:20 we'll start the program. Sharp 8:20. Tomorrow also, first session, trios. Brahma, Vishnu, Sivan, Mari, மூணு பேர் வராங்க. பெரிய genius மூணு பேருமே. One Mr. P.V. Srinivasan. Ask Mr. Chandrasekhar about PVS. Person with 4 decades of experience. Kottuvar talks like king. Another person already has come. Naale program ki iniki vandachu. Chartered accountant Mr. Venkataraman. Another person, New York EY Technologies. Mr. Swaminathan. All the 3 are coming, talking on different topics. We will have a panel discussion. We will have a question and answer session. Next, 45 minutes, 2 giants. One Mr. Kumaraswamy, close friend of Mr. Muralidharan, in fact. Tomorrow also we can expect him. In IIM Ahmedabad again, he is giving a lecture. Followed by Anand Pattabhiraman, chartered accountant, is giving a lecture. Then we will break for lunch. In the afternoon, again, another giant, Professor Ranganathan, head of the Department of Commerce, retired. Now he is coming and addressing. Along with him, another person by name Mr. Ramesh Kumar from DB Jain College, in fact. No doubt he is a commerce teacher. He does not like commerce. He likes only science. Genius, in fact. Do you know what is the topic given to him? Why PhD? Why to do PhD? That is the topic. And followed by valedictory session. I want every one of you to be present tomorrow. Auditorium should be full completely. Thank you so much. You can go.